So I don't think you should be anywhere else apart from here. So if you have the opportunity to come to Lobo Village, if you're in Eldoret, if you're in Kitale, not too far off, maybe an hour's drive and you're here. So make your way here. There's plenty of action, plenty of excitement. And of course, we'll be waiting to see the world champion, Agnes Ngetich, do her thing on this particular event today.
And Elijah, that maybe is the highlight of the day. Every single person wants to sit on the course, this 2-kilometer loop, and just make sure you get a chance to watch Agnes Ngetich, world champion. She won it last year. She's back this year, and that pretty lady is on top of the world.
That pretty lady has been fighting to be on top of the world. She's done it on the road. She tried to do it on the track. It just wasn't her year last year. But this year, it seems it could be her year. Because a few years back, Faith Kipyegon started her season here. And she went on to have a remarkable season on the track. Maybe this could be what Agnes Ngetich just needs. You get that confidence. Okay, I'm now the world champion. So if I'm the world champion, I have to go and do it again and again to show the world it was not by fluke. It was by chance that I got to the pinnacle of cross country, and let's do it on the track now.
And Elijah, as you speak, people are just streaming into Lobo Village. Wherever you look on our screens, you're just seeing people coming in. And not just getting in, people also just coming in around to take a look at you. Get to see the guy who's always on NTV. But you know what? Let's move this conversation a bit. Let's talk to Mr. Barnaba Koril. He's the meet director. Mr. Barnaba, if you just can come in closer to us. Mr. Barnaba, I know this is what makes your heart tick. I know this is what makes you wake up every single morning. How does it feel when you see the crowd, when you see the kids, everyone coming out?
This is really electric. This moment is very important for me, especially having the 5th time, and it shows that this event is growing every year. I'm really proud of what we have done as a federation. We have achieved what we have dreamed of. You saw the number of young kids running. I think for me, that is the most important one because we talk about the future.
You spoke to us on Monday and told us how important it is for you as a grandfather to watch the kids. You've seen them this morning. Your heart must be full.
James, let me tell you, my grandson was running also today.
How well did he do?
I don't understand.
Oh, you haven't checked.
He participated and he ran quite well, but I'm happy that also every child has an opportunity to run. Now they can see the importance of taking part in athletics, and as they continue with their education, they have something else to look up to and forward to, so that they can actually figure out about their education, about running, and about sports in general. The public also excited. You have seen the numbers here. That's why it is called the City of Champions. The City of Champions is supported by County of Nandi, Elgeyo Marakwet, the Source of Champions. So this is important, and at least Kenya has done so much. The support of the government is extremely important because whatever we are having here is excellent. But of course, the team or the house that has stood with us for so many years, Absa, we are proud of the support you have given us, and we cannot take it for granted. We cannot take it for granted because you have been there with us, and I know you'll always be with us even in the future as we wait even for a more important event that is coming in April.
Bwana Korir, how important is it? You have traveled quite a lot. You have gone to the international events. You have seen what is being done abroad. But how important is it to be able to not just do it once, to be able to do it 5 times, and even to continue doing it right here, getting a world-class event right here at home, and not even in Nairobi, in Eldoret?
As a country, you know, the whole world knows that we are a superpower in athletics. But we want also to show that we can organize events that is equivalent to what they organize worldwide. We are bidding for other major events. The importance of that is we give an opportunity to young athletes. We give the opportunity to our own young people to take part in an international event in this country. We also give a chance to those athletes who might not have had a chance to go and compete outside the country to showcase their talents and participate here, and probably they will get also that opportunity to go and compete. Not only that, the prize money for this event is very high. It's equivalent to any other international event, country level cross-country event worldwide. In fact, our prize money is more than some of those events outside the country.
Bwana Koril, thank you very much. We are going to let you go so that you can get everything ready. The elite ladies are about to take part, the elite women, the 2K. Enjoy the athletics, and once again, thank you so very much for making sure that this continues to grow out here in Eldoret.
Thank you very much.
So there you have it. That's Mr. Barnaba Koril. He's the meet director for the Absa Sirikwa Classic. Now, there's a reason it's called the Absa Sirikwa Classic. Why? Because Absa have been part and parcel of this meet for the last few years, making sure that things are working. So let's now speak to Absa. Let's speak to the person who's in charge. Madam Wehaki, if you may just join us. Oh, there we go, Elijah. You see?
Thank you very much.
This is how you welcome someone to your event. This is absolutely how you welcome someone to the event. Mwehaki, fantastic day. The sun is out. The crowds are out. The energy is unbelievable. Just how excited are you to just to be part and parcel of this?
I'm very excited to come back to Lobo Village for the Absa Sirikwa Classic. 5th year in a row. Lots of people around here, kids, adults. It's such a beautiful day. And just enjoying all the action since this morning, waiting for the elite races. And it's going to be a good day. We're very happy as Absa to be part of the Absa Sirikwa Classic once again.
When you see what's happening here, especially over the last few days, you guys have been on the ground, a lot of community projects, a lot of work that involves not just the race, but the community around. You guys have been very busy over the last few days.
Yes, we have. Maybe just to sum it up, if I start from our customers who are really the reason why we are here, we've made quite a number of visits to engage with them, talk with them, understand how business in Eldoret is going on and how we can enable them. Then to the community, we've had a really, really beautiful engagement at Jasho School yesterday, where we not only talked with the children there, engaged with them, we planted some trees. As you can see, it's very, very hot. So hopefully we do something there for the climate as we get into next year. And then we also donated water for them, for that school. And we believe that was critical because it will not just serve the school itself, but the community around it. And we have also made a commitment to come back to Jasho Primary School and do mobile laboratories. Because when we were there, we also figured out that's one of the things they need. And then we also met with about 50 to 60 athletes around financial literacy, setting them up for the future, understanding where they're at now, giving them all the tools, education, knowledge that they require as they progress with their athletic career. So it's been a fantastic 2 days so far here in Eldoret, and we are happy to be here today and to continue this engagement that we started in this City of Champions 5 years ago.
I mean, today when we were walking in, there were plenty of smiles, and I thought it was just an entrance. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. How excited are you that you're having an impact in people's lives, and not just for this day, but also for the days that will come ahead?
Really, really excited. You know, Absa is, I think, over 105, more than 105 years old in Kenya. So to come back every single year and do something that ensures the communities we operating in a sustainable manner, we're enabling businesses, we're bringing smiles to kids' faces all around. Spoke with a couple of kids earlier, about 2 of them. They participated very well in the races this morning, and one of them just looked and said, Absa, you know, that's why we are here, and those are the moments that really, really bring pride to us, to continue engaging with them and really just to build the future for tomorrow. So every person we touch today is the person who builds tomorrow, and so for Absa, that is it, because that's in line with our purpose, empowering Africa's story tomorrow together, one story at a time.
So Absa have done half of the job. It was the roses, and now we're just waiting for the chocolates, right?
Yeah, the chocolates are right there. Please, we'll bring them. We just didn't want them to melt here, but I fulfilled my promise. Chocolates and roses are in the house, so you're well taken care of.
So even our money will be well taken care of.
Absolutely.
Mwehaki, we spoke on Monday and you spoke about wanting to see this happen, wanting to see these guys live. So I hope you are ready. I hope you are ready with your clapping stuff, just to make sure you cheer Agnes Ngetich, cheer the likes of Benyo, just so that you get to watch them. Like you said, this is that once in a lifetime chance. You get to watch our Kenyans out here.
Yes, I'm very ready with my Ngemi, and I do a very good one. So rest assured, as guys run, as Agnes runs, I'm so excited to see her running. I was also with Kiptum at the tent earlier on. He came in, and it was so good to see him in person, because I've seen him on the screen. I'd never met him. He looks smaller than he does on the screen, but really, really good to connect with such faces. Yeah.
Well, Mwehaki, we shall let you go once again. Thank you so much. First for the event, secondly for the rose flower. It's the first time in my life someone has ever given me a rose flower. So there's a first for everything, even for those of us who are pretty much old. But thank you so much. Enjoy the athletics.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you've heard it there from Wehaki. Not only are we ready with the Absa Sirikwa Classic, we also have got flowers, Elijah and I. This is going to be a first. Flowers handed over to NTV guys on TV on Valentine's Day. And gentlemen, this is a special day.
I'm telling you, man, the wonders of this world never end, eh? But we are grateful. We are grateful. We are grateful. This is the first time I think this will go down in the books as being a memorable day for sure. Long-lasting Valentine's Day.
The measurement for
Valentine's Day with a difference is the Absa Sirikwa Classic. We are live in Eldoret at Lobo Village. Loads of world-class action coming up. Let's now join our commentary team, Manya and of course Capitano Wilfred Bungei. Should be one heck of a day. Do not go anywhere. Enjoy the action.
Welcome to the world feed of the 5th edition of the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country, live from the Lobo Village in Kapseret in sunny Uasin Gishu County, home to the 5th largest town in Kenya, Eldoret city, popularly known as the City of Champions. This event has drawn over 1,023 to be precise, elite runners across multiple categories, and it comes only 1 month after the World Cross Country Championships in Tallahassee falls on Valentine's Day. You looked like you're wearing orange to me, Wilfred Bungay.
Well, I know that, it should be red, but, so we always say men are colorblind sometimes. But however, this is very exciting for us. The weather in Eldoret is 25 degrees. It's sunshine. And I think it's going to be a very, very exciting day, Manya. And I think, happy Valentine's to you, to our NTV team in Eldoret, and all the fans in athletics and everybody who is watching this. Happy Valentine to you.
We get a chance this Valentine's to celebrate love and as well as celebrate the stars who put Kenya on top of the medal table in Florida. Myself, Manya Nyamwea, will be joined for the next 4 hours by 800-meter Beijing Olympic champion Wilfred Bungay, and we'll be with you for the next about 4 hours as we cover this exciting one-day cross-country event. It's the second on the African continent this season with the Chapsaita cross-country that happened on the 6th of December last year, and it's a final gold cross-country race in this season in the World Athletics Cross-Country Tour. And the 2-kilometer women's race is underway. We'll see a lot of middle distance athletes in this race. Bungay, that was precisely the kind of distance you would run.
Absolutely. For the 2 kilometers, I think it's going to be attracting the athletes who are running 1,500 meters, 3,000 meters, even the 800 meters, they will definitely be running. And I think, Manya, this is the first time that we are having the 2 kilometers in this event. And I think it's going to be very exciting because, as you can see, the race has already started very fast because remember, when it is 2 kilometers, it's almost a dash. It's going to be just one lap for them. And Manya, this has attracted 73 athletes who are competing in the 2 kilometers. And I think already, they have started very well. Already, interestingly, Manya, I think we can be able to see that there is already a break. You and I, we have been in this Sirikwa Classic for a very long time, since the inception, 5 years ago, and always we see athletes who are there, we see athletes who, how many are there, how many, could they be able to break up? And I think in these kilometers, what is exciting, and I think everybody who loves athletics wants to see what the 2 kilometers is, and as we can see, already they are ahead. About 5-6 athletes already ahead in this.
It's a fantastic event that Athletics Kenya has added onto our cross-country calendar. And this really is for the athletes who are going to make our mixed relay team to prove their mettle. So you find the 1,500 and 800-meter national champions taking part in this race. And it's really a chance for them also to test their endurance and see what they're able to do on the cross-country.
Yeah, remember that, this is the early season of the year, especially for the track athletes, because those 1,500 and 800, the only place that they can run, Manya, is in the track, and that is during the summer season, which starts probably from the beginning of April. I think Sirikwa is Kipkeino Classic is coming up somewhere in April. So these athletes are in this preparation, and that is why it has brought a lot of excitement. And I think, when it comes to time, it is difficult, Manya, to always predict time that the athletes will be able to run, especially in cross country, for example. But in this, I expect a very, very fast race.
That's right. Last year, the champion in the 2-kilometer loop was Purity Chepkwony, who has gone on to do amazingly well, not only in the cross-country season, but also on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Manya, maybe just to inform our viewers, because, most of the people here will be like, what is this that is they're running? In the track or in this field here, we have around 8 curves that are there. We have this water point that you have there, and it is always brought in to become just a challenge, because as we all understand, cross country is all about endurance, all about what you expect to be able to have the challenges that you are able to see these athletes are going through.
And with the 2-kilometer loop, you get to see the circuit that the elite athletes will be expected to run around 5 times, a total of 5 times. But here with the 2-kilometer loop, you would expect to see people just going for it, because it's only 2 kilometers. You can survive.
Absolutely. And yes, you can see, already 3 athletes are in the front, making sure that, they are going to be the prize winners. Because I think, Manya, something very interesting, maybe to inform our viewers, is that, we had Barnabas Korir talking earlier on, who is the race director and also the youth director also in Athletics Kenya. And I think, it was really very nice to hear from him that he's excited, how many people it has attracted. And I think for him, he talked about the prize money, that all these athletes will have prize money. And I think for the 2 kilometers, each of the athletes, the winner will go with 2,000 USD. Number 2 will go with 1,500, and number 1 will go with 1,000 US dollars, equivalent to about 130,000 for the third position, about 260,000 for the first position, which is not really a small money, Manya. If you heard about what Korir talked about, is that most of these athletes would have not otherwise had a chance maybe to go and compete there and make money. But here in Kenya, they can be able to compete and make some money.
And speaking of prize money, it's really, really a good opportunity for the top 10 athletes in this race, meaning 10 out of 73 are going to walk away with a pretty penny, with number 10 coming, earning about 12,000 shillings, which is not so bad as a compensation gift for the effort that they put in today.
Yeah, so and that is why it makes it very competitive. At the moment, Manya, you put prize money in any competition, because I remember some time back, most of these competitions, guys will come and run there, and then they are just, they go home. And I think we have to echo Athletics Kenya, the Kenya government, Absa group, for being their sponsors and making sure that, these athletes, as you can see, those athletes, they have the champs right now, as you can see, as some of the challenges that they will definitely have to go through. And I think for the 2 kilometers, they will have only 1 champ that we just saw there. And for the others, they will, the more the laps that they do, they will have to be going through that. And I think, for Barnabas, for him, it was exciting, especially to hear that what he would like to see is an improvement. And I think for sure, Manya, this race has grown in leaps and bounds to be where it is. As we can see, as the second athlete, and I think we should be able to get the names, Manya, already overtaken the first athlete, who has always been in the front, what we would call it basing, because, when you go in front, you become the pace setter for everybody. And as we can see, the second athlete is now taking over.
That's right. That looks like Naomi Korir to me, but I'm really not sure. Maybe you can check for us, bib number 5030, coming in, charging for the line. This has been such a decisive run. And she knew exactly when to kick. When you were getting into this is the finishing kick, and that's the time that she decided is appropriate for her to give it everything. Coming into the win, bib number 5030. Second athlete having led from the very beginning, but this looks like we have a new champion. We have a new Sirikwa champion in the 2-kilometer women's loop, and that is bib number 5030. As far as my eyes can tell, we will be confirming the name in a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, this is the excitement, Manya, of cross country. And people would be asking themselves, because you see, when you run and you are always in front, people will think that, you're going to win. But then sometimes, those athletes who maybe have planned their race, like we will be able to hear from our team in Eldoret, what the winner will be able to tell us what is going on.
And indeed, it was Naomi Korir. Naomi had a fantastic cross-country season last year. Didn't do as well as she could have on a track. But this time, it looks like she's yet again strong at the beginning of the season. Naomi Korir is our 2-kilometer women's loop champion. In second position, Judy Kemunto, finishing with a time of 6:47. And Abigail Chimtai comes in to wrap up the podium and take home a pretty penny. Not so bad to walk away with 129, about 130,000 in third position. We have a new champion.
Yeah, and have you seen, Manya, something here that is happening? Everybody's getting flyers. It is real Valentine's in Sirikwa.
That's right. I don't know, Bungay, if you happen to pass flowers on to those that you love.
Well, I think that should be a story for another time, Manya. We may be able to talk about flowers. But I think our athletes are really excited about the flowers. But most important thing, we do give flowers to the people that we love. And it is very important for you at home. Please give a flower to someone that you love.
We don't just celebrate love here. We are also celebrating athletics excellence at the hub. Eldoret is really the hub of athletics excellence in Kenya. And I think we'll be handing over to Naomi Korir just to hear what her experience was like and how what her tactics were for running the 2-kilometer loop and winning.
Yeah, sure. As you can see there, the way Naomi Korir was sprinting because, she used the other athlete. Okay, actually not used. I think, let me correct myself there, that she, not using, but it is a very tactical thing. It is something that you must be able to do as an athlete. And as you can see there, sprinting smoothly just to take the win at today's 5th edition of Absa Sirikwa Classic Cold Tour in Eldoret. And there she's coming so smoothly. I think, Manya, if you can see this athlete, the way she runs, everybody will say that I love her running. As you can see, the strides that she has, I would equate it to an antelope, way of running, if I may say so, the way Naomi Korir is running, Manya. What do you think?
She's a 4x400 African Championship silver medalist from 2022. She's only 27 years of age, so of course she has a long career ahead of her. And this is really, really exciting that she was able to translate the success and experience that she had last season on the Athletics Kenya cross-country circuit to a victory at Sirikwa, walking away with about 250,000 shillings.
Absolutely, and this is something that I've always said, Manya, that the winner, and I think we should be probably, we will just wait for a minute and then we will be able to add over.
Yangu ya kwanza si kuparticipate the series, lakini nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ameniwezesha nikawin. Last year nilikuwa number 4, so nilikuja na mission ya kuwin this time. Yeah.
What is the importance of winning in cross country?
It is so encouraging kwa sababu cross country is full of complications, lakini kuwin inaleta hope that a lot is coming ahead.
This Naomi, target yako ni gani?
So far bado kwa sababu nilikuwa nimepotea kidogo, so narudi kuplan upya chenye nitakuwa nayo this season.
Hii season cross country inaisha mapema sana. Pengine nyinyi kama track athletes imewachana mbali sana na track season. Pengine no affect kidogo ama mko na time ya kufanya build up?
I affect sana kwa sababu cross country imekuwa and then kuna Bingwa Fest. So imekuwa connected kwa sababu bado kuna one series and then finals and then kuna weekend meetings, so like ina connect each other. Haijaenda mbali sana, so I affect. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Pengine tupate nambari 2. Unaweza songea hapa kidogo? Songea. Congratulations kumaliza number 2. Anza na jina lako na utuambie race kukuwa number 2 race ya leo inakusaidiaje?
Race kushinda leo. Nimekuwa tu poa paki. Nataka poshunwa
Sababu last year nilikuwa team Kenya, nilikuwa position 2, ningeenda kung'ang'ana na wenzangu but alinita kwa list na wakaweka position 3 akimbia. Sasa nilikuwa nataka kukimbia leo ili niweze kuonyesha kwamba nilikuwa na uwezo ya kung'ang'ania timu.
Pengine matokeo ya leo itakusaidiaje vile tunaingia track season?
Matokeo ya leo nadhani itanisaidia kwa sababu tunaenda kuingia track.
Congratulations.
Yes, as you can heard there from the two winners, Naomi Korir and Judy Kemundo, you have heard what they have just said. And I think we will just be there. It is starting the... that is, I think this is not a start, but I think this is just
recap.
The recap of what was happening. And I think, Manya?
That's right. Judy Kemunto and Naomi Korir were making their way in that crowd of 73 women, just positioning themselves in a place where there's not going to be much pushing and shoving. And that really can be a good strategy to use in cross-country, especially because you don't want to be locked up in the pack. Judy Kemunto, however, mentioned that she had a point to prove. And that was very interesting because she was second at the national championships, at the Athletics Kenya National Championships, but didn't get the chance to represent Kenya in Tallahassee, Florida. And we ended up becoming 4th place. And she's trying to she's basically saying to Athletics Kenya and the selectors that you should have done right by me. I should have represented the country.
Well, I know it happens in Athletics, Manya, and I think the most important thing is that sometimes, Athletics Kenya have a way that they are doing selection, and at times, as athletes, we should be able also to accept maybe for the decision that has been made and stand to fight for another day, because today she has proven by running and finishing second. And of course, Naomi Korir, as you could see there, and I like the way she talked, Manya, that for her, coming here as a winner of last year, she had a big advantage. She had a lot of, I would say, mentally prepared. She was very strong, and she was able to destroy the others also. When she made a move, nobody wanted to try to catch her. As you can see, the moment she made a difference, no one would be able to catch her, because psychologically, this is the winner of last year.
This course at the Lobo Village, the Sirikwa Classic course, has 2 man-made hills. And Naomi determined that she would make her move at the second hill and make a run for it, make a run for victory. And this is a confirmation of the 2-kilometer results. Naomi Korir in first position. Kemunto Judy follows closely, and then Abigail Chemutai rounds out the podium. But remember, all the way to Mary Ekiru, everyone is going to walk away with something in the top 10.
Yeah, and I think something very interesting, Manya. You see, there's only a difference of 27 seconds between number 1 and number 10. And that tells you how the competition has been here in Kenya, because Korir talk about the fact that, for a very long time, we have always yearned, to have cross-country. But at least now we have this cross-country that is world-class. It is called Label. And I think, that is why it has attracted so many athletes who have just come here, among them the top in the world. I mean, we have Agnes, for example, who just won the World Cross Country the other day, and she's going to compete here. And I think, Manya, it is exciting, especially for athletics, to see these top athletes competing in Kenya.
Indeed, that's right. And those are beautiful pictures, yet again reminding us of how beautiful the victory by Naomi Korir was, and she was followed closely by Judy Kemunto, who had a point to prove, and then rounding up the podium, Abigail Chemutai. Bunge, you mentioned that Judy should have just accepted that she was not selected for the team. However, she came in second place, and we ended up sending a weak second leg.
You see, there is always reasons behind, probably maybe because, as you can see, World Athletics currently now, before any athlete is entered into international, they must have been able to go through those doping, a number of dopings that they have been able to do, to go through. They should have been able also to compete in a number of races, and especially here in Kenya, the circuits that actually Kemundo was talking about, that she didn't compete so much of it, because Athletics Kenya, I believe that they use those cross-country circuit to gauge who has been consistent and who is most likely. Of course, I think we will leave that, Manya, for Athletics Kenya, maybe to explain exactly what could have happened, as you said. But otherwise, from my point of view, is that there's always a reason why.
And it's possible then that sometimes the selectors make a mistake, because this is a title that we have won for 2 years and then only lost it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Kenya has
this year in Florida.
Kenya has been known for cross country, and this is something that we are so proud of. From the time of John Guki, Paul Tergat, Charles Kamati, Kipowen, almost everyone. I mean, I know a number of them that were able to win cross country in the past, and therefore we're still good. All is not lost.
Yes, we'll be starting the elite-only 2-kilometer men's race at 12:30, which is about in 2 minutes and some change. We've had pictures of the beautiful audience, the beautiful spectators. Champion and the first African to win the New York City Marathon spoke about the perks of having the Sirikwa Classic cross-country race at the Lobo Village. It's near the city. And so you get spectators able to come and experience this, see for themselves, and then place themselves across the course for the best views.
Yeah, I think, what will be very important to note is that, when we see these athletes, for example, that they have done their investment and they are able to donate their property to be used for this, is something to be emulated. And I think for Hussein, this is something very good. And I think actually, as you said, Manya, it has attracted, it has made a lot to have one event that everybody is looking forward to. Those of us who are in Nairobi, we are always looking forward to go down to the new city in Kenya, which is Eldoret, and everybody wants to go down there to see what is happening, where all this, the city, it's called the City of Champions, where they are all coming, and of course, Absa Sirikwa, I would say is one of the biggest events we have down there in Eldoret.
And Bungay, we must talk about the depth in this field. We have 800-meter Olympic and double world champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi running here today. We have the Doha world champion and 2020 Olympic 1,500 silver medalist Timothy Cheruiyot running today. He was 4th at the World Championships in Tokyo. We have Reynold Cheruiyot, the mixed cross-country relay world champion of 2024. This year, they only managed to get position 4, but he's also the 1,500 world meter champion in the bronze medalist from Tokyo 2025. That is the depth that we're looking at, and it will be interesting to see how they decide to place themselves. And we're off. It's a very powerful race, as you can tell. Everyone just gunning for positions, and I think in the next few meters we'll be able to see who exactly is deciding to take the lead. And indeed, just like I predicted, Emmanuel Wanyonyi taking the lead, making sure that he doesn't involve himself in the push and shove of any pack. And he's here today, Reynold Cheruiyot as well. And we should also be able to see Timothy Cheruiyot in a little bit.
I think it will be very interesting, Manya, to see Emmanuel Wanyonyi, the Olympic champion, the world champion, in this race. And is he going to upset the 1,500 meters runners? Because remember that 2 kilometers is twice and a half, 2 times and a half of 800 meters. So it means it's a little bit longer for Wanyonyi, but I think I call him the buffalo. He can be able to actually, handle everyone. Of course, I mean, people like Timothy Cheruiyot, Ronald, they will be watching him because they know very well that as an 800-meter runner, he can easily come and pass them if he has to wait. So he must be stretched if these guys need to beat Wanyonyi. But of course, I mean, Wanyonyi has proven many times also that he can be able to handle even the longer distance. And as you can see there, Timothy Cheruiyot, is leading, I believe so.
That's actually Ferguson Rotich.
Ferguson
Rotich.
It is interesting, Manya. We have got a number of 800 because Ferguson Rotich is an 800-meter runner choosing to run 2 kilometers. Remember that most of these athletes, they say they are using this as a training. It becomes kind of like a long run, but not really long run as such for an 800-meter. It's more of a, endurance race. And I think for them it is very important. And I think, yes, we can see, because I think I've seen 2 athletes in 800. I can see also Timothy. Timothy is there on the 2nd position right now. And it is going to be 800, 1,500 meters guys to watch who is going to have endurance versus speed.
Ferguson Chariot Rotich is the 800-meter Olympic silver medalist back in 2021, and he is 36 years of age, still running. Bunge, when did you retire? At what age did you think that your body was done competing at the best of world-class events?
Well, I think for me, I competed all the way to around 32 years of age, and I think Ferguson, can still, for him, actually, as you rightly put it, he has become one of the most consistent. And Manya, something that we should be able to mention, especially to our viewers, look at the excitement that the fans have among these two athletes, especially in this event. If you can see, everybody is trying to run in the track to see who is going to win. Wanyonyi is already in front.
Reynold. That should be Reynold Chariot, yes.
Yeah, sorry for that. Who is a 1,500-meter runner. And the others are not so far from the front side, Manya.
Reynold Chariot has a CV that any athlete would love. He is a mixed cross-country relay world champion from 2024. This year only managed 4th position. The team wasn't as strong as it usually is. But in Tokyo, he actually was a 1,500-meter bronze medalist. So today, yet again, the national champion wants to run a very determined race, wants to lead from the front, and make no mistakes about it.
Absolutely, because basically what we are witnessing here, however, there is changes again, and I think it looks like, Manya, what we just witnessed in the 2 kilometers women, we are going to see again in the men's, whereby someone who was leading from the beginning, suddenly towards the end. However, we cannot call a race until it is over, because sometimes these athletes play tactical. If you get a little bit tired, sometimes it is good that you can, let someone come and take a lead and then see what you can be able to do. But I think, Manya, this has been the most exciting, and I think it will be one of the races to talk about. As we can see, the way people are just running from one corner to the other to see what is happening, because this will be one of the most exciting, actually.
Right, and there they are going over the potted reeds. The potted reeds is a complex obstacle because you must hurdle. It's not one of those that you can circumvent, and then they get into the entertainment tent. And I have an interesting opinion about this entertainment tent. So the idea is to be able to bring fans closer to the athletes as they run, as well as play some music. But do you think that the conditions in the tent end up being too hot?
Well, actually, it is not, because remember that it's about 10 meters, because I think I was there some time back when they had the tent, and I think it's about 10, 20 meters. So it won't really affect so much, because you won't even feel as an athlete, because it will not even take a second before you cross there. But as you rightly put it, that is where the entertainment comes. And here they come as they come towards the finish.
That's right. Reynold Chariot is being left behind. Emmanuel Wanyonyi also making his way top 4 at this time. But if there's anything that you need to know is that Reynold Chariot has a devastating kick, and he's the kind of guy who's going to leave it all on the track. And indeed, that's what he plans to do today. Reynold Chariot fighting for the lead. Followed closely, we can see Timothy Chariot in 3rd position, Emmanuel Wanyonyi in 4th position. And what an amazing way to open the season. Reynold Chariot is proving why he was Kenya's national champion last year and is now yet again the Sirikwa Classic 2-kilometer loop men's champion, retaining his title yet again, defending it successfully from last year.
What an exciting race, Manya. Reynold there, he was passed. Someone else again passed. He has been passed by about 2 people, and then he had to kick a terrible, very, really strong kick, Manya.
Yes, and that was nice camaraderie and sportsmanship. We witnessed Daniel Munguti, Chumbe, I think he's called, Kyumbe. So I don't know if it's Chumbe or Kyumbe, but Munguti is his teammate and has been his teammate for several mixed relay teams, and just congratulate him, because what a race in these conditions. And the challenges that you find at Sirikwa are 3. It's the heat, it's the humidity, it's the altitude.
Wow. And I think we have just witnessed Reynold. And I think, Manya, when we go to the recaps and the playback, you will see how many times was Reynolds Cheriot in front. He was passed. He never panicked. He decided to just hold the race, but he knew, as you rightly said, he has a very good kick that most of these athletes won't be able to catch him. And as you could see, there is a few seconds today that we'll be able to witness between number 1 and number 10, because for these men, 2 kilometers, all of them, almost 20 of them were in, I would say, a difference of 10 seconds maybe, Manya?
That's right. And there we have pictures of Timothy Cheriot, Doha 1,500 meter world champion. That was Munguti making a run for it, but Cheriot still proving that he was a stronger man on the day. Reynolds Cheriot coming through to take the victory, defending his title yet again, followed by Munguti, Chumbe Munguti, Daniel Munguti coming in second place. And this is a beautiful picture of the two men that typically represent Kenya in the mixed world relay race, followed by the Doha 2019 world champion in the 1,500 meters. Such was the depth. This was a very experienced team of podium finishers. Then you had Duncan Waweru in fourth position, Amason Kireu, Dominic Krop, Shadrach Kipngetich, Noah Koech, all coming up and deciding to run with the best.
Yeah, and as you can see, the time there is about 5 minutes, 5 seconds. That was really quick, as we could be able to see the sprint that these guys was able to have. And that's why, Manya, 1,500 meters, remember, for this it is an additional. For 800 meters is really tough for them, because that is more than twice their event. And I think... as we could see there, someone was needed to be assisted to wake up. And I think, there, Timothy, we will be able to go back and then hear from them later on. But for this, I think we should be able to mention, Manya, the fact that 800, 1,500 meters was the athletes who were able to be in the entry list. And I think something very exciting, Manya, to see is when you get an Olympic champion. Remember that most of these athletes, fans in Eldoret, they would otherwise have not seen Emmanuel Wanyonyi, Reynolds Cheriot, Timothy Cheriot, all these elite athletes who have come to compete here. They would have not otherwise been able to see them really competing. And I think we should be able to give it to the organizers, the Athletics Kenya, at least for making sure that the elite athletes are able to compete here in Kenya. Because I remember, Manya, hardly we had to compete during our time, only maybe in the 90s and early 2000s, the athletes would be able. And I think we will be able to go back to our gentleman, that is Elijah and Wakapi, as they interview the winner, Cheriot.
According to me, I can say nimekimbia a lot of 2K this year, last year. So nilikuwa na gain a lot of experience. Wakati nimemaliza race yangu Tulu, naenda kustudy fenye nilikuwa weak hapo katikati, alafu unajaribu kuchange tactics. Ingawa nilikuwa slow kwa caps, nilikuwa na bend cap sana, lakini nashukuru Mungu niliweza kuwa position siku ya leo.
Reynolds, tumeona ovulate ulikuwa umejaribu ku double 1,500 na 5,000. Pengine this year pia hiyo ndio target yako, ama una concentrate na moja?
No, I don't inform something like that. But we are going to sit down with my coach. We discuss how am I going to run 5,000 in Commonwealth this year. But I hope I will going to run 5,000 this year Commonwealth. I'm going to left 1,500 behind and then I'm focusing 5,000. Yeah.
Asante sana.
Congratulations, Banarino. Mike, you got Mike.
Unaona? Mahali nimetoa hizi. So nakumbuka pale.
Beautiful images of teammates. of teammates Reynold Cheriot and Daniel Munguti crossing the tape very close to one another, a distance that they are very, very familiar with and have been running, representing Kenya in the mixed relays for the past so many editions. And here is a confirmation of the elite men 2-kilometer results. Reynold Kipkorir Cheriot in first position, Munguti Chumbe Daniel in second position, Timothy Cheriot rounds out the podium in third position. All of them walking away with a pretty penny, 2,000 USD for the first place, 1,500 and 1,000 for the second and third positions.
Yeah, and as you could heard, Munguti Daniel there, Munguti. Oh, still continuation, sorry.
Lakini kwa reaction ilikataa, mwili ilikataa. So nikapiki tukaelekea kumaliza. That's when nilijaribu kupush kidogo tukaelekea kumaliza.
This season, what is your target?
For this season, my target is to make a major championship. For it is a very busy year. So it will be my pleasure to represent my country in all this championship. If at all I push and I get a slot.
This year tuliona pale kwa World Cross kidogo ni kama mlikuwa na miscalculation. Ilikuwaje? What did you learn from that?
What we learned in Florida is that just go to the championship when you are very ready, because everyone is prepared for the championship. So what we got in Florida, I can say is what we had prepared for. So we cannot blame anyone. That's what we are preparing for. Yeah.
In the next championship, you are going to prepare well.
Yeah, maybe in the next championship, we are going to push now harder. Yeah. Thank you.
All the best this season.
Manya, I mean, it is interesting there from Daniel that, what we got is what we had prepared for. And I think, for most of athletes, always they would wish the best. Of course, the country is sending you there to be able to represent them, and they expect you to do very well. Of course, sometimes you go there and you find the weather may not be so much favorable, and sometimes, you may not do as well as you wanted, but...
Or maybe, yet again, Judy Kemunto should have been on the team. I'll keep talking about that. It's really a strong conviction, and I think maybe that's part of what they were referencing, but a little sugar-coated.
Well, I think, those are food for the thought, because anyway, we are in the Absa Sirikwa, and as you can see the recap there, how things unfolded in the 2 kilometers, where we had a number of changes, and as you can see there, Manya, Munguti was way behind at that position, as I think they were approaching towards the end. He was really behind, but of course, being a very good sprinter also, he was able to manage and at least elbow himself way to the podium.
That's right. And we see other world-class stars here. At this point of the race, Ferguson Rotich, Vincent Keter, 1,500 World Junior Champion in 2011 and Africa Junior Champion in 2019, still running. I believe I saw him in an indoor meeting. So probably this is just to mix it up with his indoor season.
Absolutely, yeah, because, if you look at the 800, and especially even what happened during the race, Manya, you see every of these athletes would wanted to test to be in the front, to feel how it is, especially after stretching for so long, more distant than your distance, because this race has been, as I've repeated again, dominated by 15 and 800 meters. Each one of them, especially for Ferguson, I think it was really a very good effort for him, even at this age. I believe the athletes there, they must be calling him grandfather, the way they used to call us at that period when we were ending. He's the father of athletics here. And I think it was really impressive to be able to see him, even at his age, still being able to come in front, still being able to challenge these youngsters. But of course, as we could see there, how they were coming.
Let's hear from Timothy Cheriot, came in third position.
Race of the year, so I'm happy about the results of the day.
We are not used to seeing you in cross countries. What made you to come here today?
Today I came because it was my first race. Normally I closed my season, going home for off season for 2 months. So I was starting last December some build-up, so I said to this I need to test my speed.
So what is the plan for Timothy this season?
This season is there is good things ahead. We're having Commonwealth Games, we're having Diamond Leagues, and we're having Ultimate Championship. So I'm focusing on that races.
Thank you so much, Timothy, and all the best in your season. I'm seeing here Emmanuel Wanyonyi, the Olympic and world champion. Congratulations, Emmanuel. When one of the track athlete tujawahi kosa kukuona kwa cross country. Cross country iko na umuhimu gani sana kwako?
Cross country iko na umuhimu kubwa kwangu. So far nimechelewa kwa reason, but now nasema cross country ni inasaidia kwa stamina, kwa build up, kwa endurance yote kwa track. Before track ianze, nadhani na cross country ndio nilikuwa na build up mzuri kwa track. Yeah.
Kuna time ulikuwa umetupea hint ukasema unataka ku move 1500 ukisonga hivi juu. Pengine 1500 tunaanza hii mwaka ama bado unapima pima?
I want to run 800 meters now, so sitaki crash. Wacha nikimbie 800 for now. Nikiwa ready kwa 1500 ndawaambia, but for now I want to focus to 800 meters only. Yeah.
This season what are your major targets unaangalia this season?
This season haina pressure sana, naona so first nataka nikuwe fit kwa body, mwili ikimove, mwili ikiwa ready to race ndawaambia, but for now I want to train fast. Yeah.
So all the best for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Manya, I like that, the fact that Wanyonyi, when he's asked what plans do you have for the season, and he said that, I'll be able to tell you, because the most important thing for every athlete, for example, is to test your body at the beginning of the season so that you cannot overpromise or say something that would otherwise, make people to question. I think that is a language of elite athletes. Wanyonyi is one of our best athletes in this event. 800, I believe, is one of the best right now. The only thing that is remaining with him is a world record, which is held by Rhodesia. And I think if he breaks that, he will be one of the greatest athletes. And I think it is very exciting and nice to be able to see him even trying to compete in a distance that is more than twice his event, Manya.
That's right. And Emmanuel Wanyonyi also proved his mettle at the Grand Slam track meets, because he did win 1,500 meters against greats such as Cole Hawker and the like. So, I mean, he's actually a very, very strong athlete. And just maybe there was a better man today.
Yeah, and I think, for him, maybe what I would just suggest to Wanyonyi maybe later on is that, he should be able to prepare maybe for a world record, because there is not major championships. What is very important for him is to prepare for a world record, because it is in his feet and hands and heart as well.
That's precisely the kind of insight that we need from the Beijing 800-meter Olympic champion. This year is World Ultimate Games, and I believe that was one of the disciplines that will be included in the program. But in your opinion, Wanyonyi should focus on the world record and not the Ultimate Games.
Absolutely, because, he has every chance. Remember, Manya, Wanyonyi is one athlete who has run sub 142 about 4 or 5 times. Few athletes really did sub 142, which is something to do with 141. And therefore, the only thing that you need to prepare, and especially with no pressure for Olympics, no pressure for World Championships, he should be able to, because, the two big events that is always there for most of these athletes is the World Championships and the Olympics. Of course, for the Commonwealth countries, they are there. But of course, I think Wanyonyi should be able to prepare if someone can be able to pass a word to him to tell him prepare for a world record.
And those were beautiful shots of the aerial view of the course architecture, giving us an idea of how windy the course is. 2 artificial man-made hills, 2 mounts that have been part of this course since the very beginning, as well as the potted reeds hurdle, where they have to hurdle instead of going around. It's not really a possibility. This village, the Lobo village, is situated 2,119 meters above sea level. And that looks like the award ceremony, with Naomi Career, the new champion in the 2-kilometer loop for women, Judy Kemunto in second position, with a point to prove after having been left out of Team Kenya for the Tallahassee World Championship relay competition. And in third position, you have Abigail Chemutai.
Yeah, it's interesting that, and I think these athletes, they will be so happy at least they are able to get their awards as soon as they finish. As we can see there, the winners. Naomi Korir, who was able to run 6 minutes. Naomi Korir, Kemunto also following there, and Chemngeno, not so much over distance as they came towards the finish there. As you can see, they are able to display the prize money of each of the athletes. Number one with 257, number two, 192,000, and a third position, 128,000 prize money, which I think for me, Manya, it's something very good because most of the cross countries, most of the retired athletes, I think they will watch right now and they would say, hey, you know what? When we was running during our time, we would only get maybe a blanket, maybe a trophy or a medal, nothing much. And I think when Athletics Kenya, the organizers have realized that, sports has become commercial, it will only be very important that these athletes who really work hard and they come and compete here are able to go home with prize money.
And it's really incredible to see our athletes who are literally the best in the world being appreciated at home. Total prize purse money for the 2-kilometer loop for the women was 880,000, as well as for the men. And you have position 1 to 10 walking away with something, with the very least being 12,000, about 12,500 Kenya shillings for positions 9 and 10.
Yeah, and I think something interesting to be able to talk about, Manya, is that you talk about prize money for these athletes and elite athletes competing here. I think for the first time, this race has attracted over 5,000 athletes, 1,024 as elites, and about almost 3,000 and something, almost 4,000 are the youth who have just competed this morning. We were not able to bring you those events that was going on. But of course, we had over 3,500 youths or kids in school between the ages of 5 and 9, I think so. And then we had 10 and 13, competing earlier on. And I think it is so encouraging to see this elite athlete, Manya, when they come and compete there. Because in the other case, these young athletes who are there, they will always remember and say that, you know what, I compete in the same race as Wanyonyi, as Naomi, as Faith when he was running. And there, I think we have the podium for the 2 kilometers men.
That's right. The podium for the 2-kilometer men consisting of only champions who have done us proud, gold medalists in the mixed relay race, Daniel Kumbe Munguti taking second position, really gave a charge for it at the final, but just Chariot just proved to be stronger, proved to have more left in the tank. That's right, and in first position,
National Police Service, Reynold Kipkorir Cheruiyot.
Wapi makofi ya Reynold Cheruiyot
Kipkorir Cheruiyot
will be awarded by the host, who is also
awarded by the host.
Yes.
Former marathon champion himself, Ibrahim Kipkemboi Hussein, the first winner of Boston Marathon, first Kenyan winner, and first Kenyan winner of Honolulu Marathon, and also first winner of New York, 208 in 1988.
Don't forget Munguti and Reynolds, they were in the team Kenya for the 2 kilometers loop.
So the amount of money, 257,000 for the winner, Reynold Kipkorir, also was in Team Kenya to Tokyo 2025.
All right, smile for the camera in 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Our champions and Absa, thank you. Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. So all the athletes will remain there for the photo. We stand up for the champions.
And now we hand over to the news team. We will resume coverage at 1:15 p.m. Stay tuned.
Inaitwa gentleman's handshake.
Tim. So once again, I want Timothy to say Jambo and tell us why he's moving up to the longer distances. Timothy, how are you?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm happy to be here in Lobo. It was my second race, and I'm happy at position 3. This is about a filter to go up for long distance.
We're also telling this audience that you're one of the most highly decorated athletes at Kenya Prison Service. What's your rank now, Timothy?
My rank in Kenya Prison Service.
National Stadium. Following this for us, Midecha, good afternoon. What is the atmosphere like at the stadium? And this is a big deal for the country, isn't it?
Very good afternoon to you, Ibrahim Karanja. As you have rightfully put it, this is the biggest event happening in the capital city of Kenya, Nairobi, right now. It is the HSBC Sevens Division 2, and it has been a day that started as early as 8 a.m. and we're still going on here. Only the first 2 matches of the group have been played for some teams, and others are going to have to wait until later on. Currently going on right now is the women's team, Kenya Lionesses, taking on China, and it's not looking very good for the Lionesses as China is leading 15-0. Probably that's why you're not seeing a very big crowd behind me. But aside from that, let me tell you how the day started. China did open for us this 7th series here, and they lost to Argentina 2010. In the second game, it was Spain women taking on the South African women, and South Africa triumphed in a very narrow win of 14-12. In the third women's pool game, it was Kenya playing against Brazil, and they did win that game 15-12 with the tries from the likes of Janet Okello, Stella Wafula and Naomi Amugoni, giving Kenya the win in that game. That was the women's pools that started at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then later on at 10:10, the men did get onto the field where USA thrashed Uruguay, Belgium rather, 40-0, and then Germany beat Uruguay 19-14 in the second match, and then the Shujaa of Kenya beat Canada 29-12. That was their first match of this round-robin tournament. Now it's currently ongoing right now, and in the second women's pool game, it is all about Argentina winning their second game, beating Spain 19-17. So as you can tell, this is what is happening here. People are just going to be passing by, so you're going to get used to it. And then in the second pool game for the women, Brazil have caused probably what is the upset of this tournament, beating South Africa women 12-0. Now, as I told you, currently going on is Kenya versus China. It's not looking very good, but we have a fan here who's going to be telling us all about his experience. Let me just invite him to join us. Please come. And then he'll tell us how he's feeling this rugby experience. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to NTV. Maybe you can start by telling us your name and tell us about this whole HSBC experience and how you feel to be here today.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Kibiwot Cheriot. I'm a rugby player, and being here, it's extremely good. We thank the HSBC for giving us a local circuit, and it's a wonderful experience. Apart from the heat, we're having a good fun.
It's all about good fun. This is the biggest rugby tournament we've had in Kenya, and it's really a big deal. How do you feel when you see, we talk about the Kenyan corner when we go out there, but here it has just come home. How do you like the atmosphere?
The atmosphere is amazing, especially being on a Valentine, so people are out here in numbers. And I think this is the biggest crowd we've had in rugby for a very long time. Yeah, and we thank the management. Organization is good. We are having a lot of fun.
It seems like people are having a lot of fun here. Ibrahim, what's your prediction? How do you think the Shujaas and the Lionesses will do?
For the Lionesses, we will be in the finals. For Shujaa, we're in the finals, and we're bringing the cup home. We must win this one.
It's coming home. The England fans say it's coming home. So it's go Shujaa from here at the Nyayo National Stadium. As you've heard from the fan here, he's absolutely excited. The atmosphere is absolutely electric. And I'm telling you, this is how it's going to be today and tomorrow. At the end of the day, it is all about selling Kenya on Kenyan soil. And if my camera person Maureen can just show you what is happening around, it is absolutely colorful here. There's so many things that have been going on. And I mean, it's food, entertainment, people just coming to the village, being able to get the whole atmosphere. They are doing a whole lot of things here. It's food, rugby action, a bit of music, a bit of everything that is happening here. This is the place to be. But if you don't have a ticket, please do not come, because the security out here is absolutely tight. If you have an online ticket, yes, you can come. If you can't, just go to any of these watch parties that are everywhere around Nairobi, and you can be able to watch these games. So as you can see, fans are still streaming in their large numbers. This village is absolutely electric. The atmosphere here is fun. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to come back to the office later on, but it's absolutely amazing. As I told you earlier on, currently going on is China versus the Kenya Lionesses. That game is currently on 15-7. The stadium has been painted in all Kenyan colors. It is red, white, black, and everyone is singing in the Kenyan corner. Right now, what is currently going on in the stadium is the Kenya Lionesses taking on the on China. Very tricky game, a very hard affair. Looks like Kenya is trying to have a comeback, but the current scores are currently 15-7 in favor of the Chinese ladies. Interesting scenes going on here. Next game will be the men's pool. Kenya will be taking on Belgium at 1:52 p.m. Kenya will be hoping to get their second win. That is the Kenya Shujaa. That's the men's team. It's going to be hoping to get their second win of this tournament. Now, this is what it's all about. If I can just tell you that what this means is that they have to try and finish top 4. Both teams, the Shujaa and the Lionesses, they have to try and finish top 4 in this tournament, because after this they go to Montevideo in Uruguay and then finish in Sao Paulo, where the first 4 teams will be able to get promotion to the first division. It's a big deal here. Everything is at stake. And in that first game, Patrick Odongo was absolutely outstanding, with Nigel Amaita also doing an excellent job. Patrick Odongo did score 2 tries. Nigel Amaita scored 2 tries. And they managed also to get conversions in that first game against Canada. So it was a massive win. Now the Kenya Lionesses have just concluded their second game. Not very good news for the Kenya Lionesses. They've just lost that match. 15-12, narrow loss. So now they'll have to work hard in their third and final game of the day, which is against our very bitter rivals, South Africa. It's going to be a tough match that they're going to be taking on at around 3 p.m. Let me give you the exact time. It's actually going to be at 3:48 p.m. That's when the Kenya Lionesses are going to be taking on the South African Springbok ladies. And it's going to be a very tough match. They will need to win in that game, having lost their second game. It's a bit balanced right now for the Kenyan ladies. The scoreline is what matters now when it goes down to the points, because they've lost by a very small margin here. A lot of interesting things that are going to be decided here. So they have to make sure that at least they finish within the top 4. This is a round robin format, so everything is at stake. No one is safe. You have to ensure that you're getting all your maximum points. And even as people are, being happy, being celebratory in this Valentine mood, the Valentine atmosphere is being overshadowed by the rugby atmosphere, or rather they can say they're sharing it a little bit, so to speak. Right now, the match that is currently going on is the men's pool matches have just started, and it is Uruguay going to be taking on USA. The match is currently going on. Remember, USA won their first game 40-0. coached by former Kenyan coach Mike Friday. It's going to be interesting to see how Kenya versus USA is going to be turning out. But that game is tomorrow. Today, it is all about day one of the HSBC Sevens Division 2 matches. Now, earlier on, I spoke to KRU director Leslie Mwangale on how this tournament has been organized, what it means for Kenya, and what impact it's going to have. Remember, we also have a local circuit that goes on here in Kenya. That is the 7th circuit. Starts in June, and then later on in the year, in October, we'll have the Safari Sevens. But us hosting this and making it big and making it count and it being sold out is an absolutely big deal. And just to hear it from the KRU point of view and how they got things right and what happened for them to be able to make this successful is a very, very big deal. So when you look at this crowd here, it just tells you the number of organizational hours it took to make this successful. From security to ensuring that people are getting food, to ensuring that, everything is running on smoothly on a busy weekend like the Valentine's weekend. I think all you can say that it is an absolute success. You can see people people coupling, and they're looking amazing. They're actually looking amazing. They're looking wonderful here at the Nyayo National Stadium. Everyone is looking at their seat, and I can tell you, Ibrahim, inside the stadium it is absolutely packed. There's no Kenyan corner. It is the Kenyan Stadium. So right now, it is all about the HSB Sevens currently going on here at the Nyayo National. Remember, this is a 2-day event. Today is day one. Tomorrow, we will know who will have finished top in this series. Crucial points. Next month, it's all about as you can see, the fans are happy here, Ibrahim. It's all about 2 people. And I can see guys have come here. Probably they want to be interviewed. They can tell us their names and, their experience here. Maybe you can start by telling us your name. Just look at the camera there, because right now you're live on NTV. How is the experience for you guys?
It's amazing. We're enjoying ourselves. The HSBC is a fine tournament. Yeah, quite tough, but it's cool. We're enjoying ourselves.
Let's bring it home, man.
Yeah. Well, the Lionesses have just lost their second game against China. Tough contest. How do you feel about that? Do you think they'll recover against SA having lost to Brazil?
Everyone who wants to win, man, has to go through losses, man. Yeah. It happens. We believe they will overcome it. They will overcome it. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about the Shujaa? First game, tough, 29-12 against Canada. Got a bit of a scare, but they managed. Patrick Odongo, exceptional performance alongside Nigel Amaita.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Odongo is a good player, and we appreciate it for that. So he'll keep on shining. Yeah, this is a tournament that it leads to exposure. So everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, we also see the hard work they give, and we really appreciate it. Shout out to them. And we see the work, man, and we're grateful that they can put us on the flag.
So you guys tell me, what songs have you been chanting in the stadium? Because, you can tell me, because we know about the Kenya corner, but now it's the Kenyan Stadium. Any songs you guys have been chanting about inside there?
There were new there for KU. Yeah, the Kenyan Kanayo. Yeah. Kenya is all about good vibes,
vibes, man.
Yeah.
Well, there you've had it from the fans. It was all about Anguka Nayo. It was about everything, a little bit of everything going on here in the stadium. And as I said earlier, I did speak to KRU director Leslie Mwangale, people who've worked behind the scenes to make sure that this tournament is successful. And this is what he had to say.
Very, very impressed. As you can see, the turnout is massive. Big shout out to Kenyans for coming through to support. The games, the quality of games is very, very high. The level of organization is also top notch. So kudos to everyone that is involved in planning this event.
This is one of the biggest events that has ever been held in Africa. Apart from South Africa, Kenya has now had the privilege. And you've shown as KRU that you have the capacity to do this kind of tournament. What does this mean now for rugby, for Kenyan rugby and, world rugby at large?
This is massive for us as Kenya Rugby. It just goes to show the level of preparations that we've put into this tournament. It goes to show the level of quality that we have at the secretariat level, and KRU is ready. KRU is ready for our partners. We also want to shout out to our partners who've really come in a big way for us, just to make sure that this tournament is a success.
Now it's the Kenyan Stadium and the fans have come out in numbers for tournaments like, now our rugby and Safari Sevens. What will this mean? Because this is just another level of Kenyan love that we are seeing here.
Yeah, this is massive for us. I mean, this creates momentum for us, even as we go on to our other products, such as the circuit, which is coming up in June, and the Safari Sevens in October. This is good momentum for us because now we get to showcase what we can actually do, and our partners can actually see the level of preparation that goes into this and the level of support that we actually need to be able to make rugby the #1 sport in Kenya. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how the game so far, it's been absolutely electric. The level of competition here in Div 2 seems to be tighter and tighter, and it's growing stronger every day. But so far, so good from the Kenyan outfits.
Yeah, a good show out for Lionesses against Brazil. We've been able to take it. Shujas against Canada at home soil. We've been able to take it. So we're taking it a game at a time. The boys and girls are prepared well. We had 2 camps. Shujas went to South Africa for their camp. Lionesses went to Spain. So our boys and girls are well prepared, and we're expecting to take this tournament here at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate. All the best to you guys. Hi, how are you?
Good.
What's your name?
My name is Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Hi.
How is the whole rugby experience for you today? This is the first time we're having such a big event. How is it?
The atmosphere is very good. Of course, we have the people with the foods, the stands, people selling shirts.
Well, there you have it, Ibrahim Karanja. That is what the KRU director had to say about this amazing tournament. We'll have this and more on day 1 of the HSB 7 series from the Nyayo National Stadium. For now, let us enjoy more rugby action and a bit of entertainment. Back to you, Ibrahim.
Well, thank you very much, Gladys Midecha from the Nyayo National Stadium. Gladys, with that kind of energy and vibe, you make some of us who are in studio wish that we were not news anchoring and that we were sports journalists who would be at the stadium to follow this rugby action. But away from rugby, we also have the Sirikwa Classic, officially known as the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country, which is an annual international cross-country running event held in Eldoret. It takes place on varied natural terrain in Kapseret, drawing elite national and international runners across multiple race categories. The race honors Sirikwa, a figure from local legend tied to the ancient Sirikwa people of the region, blending athletic competition with cultural heritage and community celebration. Now we cross over to join Steve Keter, who is our colleague there in Eldoret. Steve, good afternoon. A lot of action from here in Nairobi at the Nyayo National Stadium on rugby. What is happening on the cross country?
Yes, Ibrahim, here in Eldoret is also a buzz, the city of champions. The energy is flowing. And as you can see, I have fans who are part of thousands of fans who have turned up to witness what is the biggest sporting extravaganza on this part of the country. Maybe just to get a quick one from a fan who you never miss in any competition. Start with your name and tell us, why do you love so much to coming to these events?
My name's Moseti Samson. I come from Cheering Squad, Kenya. This is a group that is formed from different disciplines. We have Kenya Defence Forces, we have Kenya Prison Service, we have National Police Service, and we have civilians representing counties. We are usually in this field to bring that enthusiasm and sports culture that is involved in sports. We so much focused in giving the sports environment that capacity and that environment that it requires. Having been representing this group for the past 5 years now, we focused and we're looking forward, maybe from the Ministry of Sports and the government at large, just to consider as one time, at least we accompany our team, maybe Commonwealth is coming soon. I wish that some of these members will be part of the team that will be accompanying our athletes to the Commonwealth Games. We always, as I've already said, from departmental sectors, these guys are so much disciplined. That's why you've never seen any hooliganism, any kind of choking, any kind of fights. We are so much focused and towards giving the best entertainment ever that we do over in sports.
Thank you so much. Those are a group of fans who normally turn up to watch every athletics event. They follow it throughout the country, and even when it comes to the City of Champions, they are always here. Now I take it back to you, Ibrahim.
Welcome back to Sirikwa Classic that is going on right now. And I think in the field, we have already covered 2 kilometers, both senior men and senior women. And right now we are in the 6 kilometers junior women. That is currently going on. In the lead should be Mercy Chemngeno, followed by Chepkiroi Joan, Vanessa Chepet, Cynthia Chepkiroi, Abigail Chepkorir, all in the front there. As you can see, these are the athletes, the under 26 kilometers women. And I believe, Manya, these are most athletes that have come from the training camps that has been started by Athletics Kenya, which is, I think they have over 3,000 over 42 camps in Kenya, running over 3,000 athletes. And I think if you can be able to look at all these athletes, most likely they have come from the same. But of course, the action is going on now. As you can see, there Mercy Chemngeno battling out with Chepkiroi Joan and Vanessa Jebet. We wait and see if we are going to experience what we have seen in the past, where we have a lot of changes in the front, having few athletes jostling between themselves. But of course, the action is going on, Manya.
That's right. We have actually 57 athletics camps across Kenya, sponsored by the government and run by Athletics Kenya. And now we have a good idea of who's in the lead. We have Cynthia Chepkorir, who is determined to defend her title. She's just 17 years of age, and she's a defending champion, hoping to make it a two-time victory. Joylene, last year in third position was Diana Chepkemoi, who's actually moved on to the senior race and will be participating today, except that she's still just 19 years old. So I think she wants to get a feel for what the senior championships look like. What is at stake is $1,250 for the first position, $1,000 for second position, $800 for third position. And right now, it looks clear that the podium will be constituted in no particular order of Cynthia Chepkorir, Chebet Venenza, and Lorna Cherono.
Yeah, as you can see, the three of those athletes, they are all in front, having completed the first lap. They are right now on the second lap. They have already completed the second lap, I believe, or they are just coming to complete the second lap, where we have already the leading pack of 3 athletes, having given the chase pack quite a distant manner between the leading pack and the chasing. But still, with 3 athletes, as we can see, all of them still in a group. Cynthia looks like he's dropping behind. However, it's not yet done until it is done. You can never rule out any athlete, as we could see in the 2 kilometers man, whereby there was a lot of exchange in the front. And in this case, we have, of course, Vanessa, Lorna, and Cynthia.
That's right. Cynthia Chepkorir is not just the national champion. She also was 4th in the World Cross Country Championships in the under-20 race. Coming in 4th was not a bad try, because the athletes that beat her are obviously older than her. And I think in Cynthia we see something special. She could be potentially Beatrice Chebet or Faith Kipyegon of future years.
And you see, Manya, something very interesting, and I think anybody who loves athletics and wants to see continuation is that when you hear an athlete who is 19 years of age being able to dominate the way they dominate, it tells you that Kenya is safe as we move towards the future of athletics, because we know that Kenya is a powerhouse in the field of athletics, and it looks like, we are not going to run out of talent anytime soon, and especially with the camps that we have, Manya.
And these girls have just been packing on the experience. These 3 athletes were all top 10 in the national championships. Cynthia Chepkurui, of course, was the national champion. Lorna Cherono came in 3rd position, and Venenza Chebet was 8th, came in 8th position. She's born in 2007, just like, and therefore is older than Cynthia Chepkurui and Lorna Cherono, who are both born in 2008 and 9 respectively. But this is a time when you want to prove yourself, and you're young, yes, but you know what victory feels like.
Yeah, and you see, as you rightly said, Manya, they have competed in the past together. They know each other. They know the strengths and the weaknesses. And that is one of the reasons why you would find that, during the competition, at certain point, someone can be able to go back, because that is how they run. But of course, races are races. It doesn't matter. You could be friends. I remember some time back what most athletes would say is that, we are friends outside the track, but then we don't actually become enemies, but competitors in the track. And therefore, it means the person who is stronger mentally, someone who has prepared very well, could possibly be able to beat the others, despite the fact that probably, they have competed with together for a number of races, but it depends on the day. As we can see there, that should be Cynthia still in the lead as of now.
I believe that is Venenza Chebet, actually. Venenza Chebet has actually made a run for it, breaking away from the rest of the leading pack, and just very determined, a lot of energy to go over those potted reeds. And, at this point of the race, other than the altitude and the heat and the humid conditions that you're dealing with, you then now have to jump and keep it going, keep your momentum, and test your endurance.
Yeah, well, this is one of the races that we always say that it is the most difficult, because you have got to have different, barriers that you would be able to experience. Because I think for those people who could have been able to follow marathons, it's always a flat course. If you go to the track, it's always flat. But when it comes to cross country, and by the way, Manya, different cross countries have different challenges. If you look at some of the big cross countries that we have here in Kenya, for example, Jepsaida has a different course altogether. And this is something that always happens. And there, Veneza, I believe this is the last lap that she's coming for the win.
That's right. Venenza Chebet making her way to the finish line. She broke away from the rest of the leading pack, leaving Cynthia Chepkurui and Lorna Cherono behind, and is determined to make a sprint for the finish line. Venenza Chebet hasn't achieved much because she's still a young girl, but managed to come in 8th position at the national championships. She ran the cross country back earlier in October, and she came in 8th position. But today we have a new champion. Cynthia Chepkurui didn't manage to defend her title. Venenza Chebet is the woman of this hour.
What an exciting race there for Vanessa, as you rightly put it, Manya, that, sometimes it's a big advantage for an athlete who is coming with, doesn't have a lot of experience. The top athletes who have competed many times, most of the time they will always underrate, and sometimes that is your strength. And I think for Venenza, it was her strength, knowing that, I've not competed so much with these athletes, but at the end of the day, I can still be able to beat them. Congratulations to Venenza for winning the 5th edition 6 kilometers under 20.
And we have to talk about the national champion, Cynthia Chepkurui, who rounds off the podium, coming in 3rd. And I think 3rd is better than 4th, which is the position that she was back at the World Cross Country Championships in Tallahassee. They say you don't... When you come, tell me, have you come in 4th, Wilfred Bungay, as an athlete yourself? And what does position 4 feel like?
Well, of course, I mean, every athlete wants to be in the podium. For example, when you don't make it to the podium, all the other positions usually doesn't count. It's either you are 1, 2, or 3. Once you become 4th or 8th, we always, as athletes, we always consider it's almost the same. However, it challenges you as an athlete to understand that, what, in the next time I want to be in the podium. At least 4th position, it gives you a chance to know that you could be easily in a good position. As we can see there, athletes, it's becoming very hot. And you can imagine, for those people who are in Eldoret, there are people who understand how Eldoret is. And when you have athletes competing at this time of the hour, we will expect them, the kind of things that, at least the beauty of it is, they are the first aiders who can be able to help these athletes, because running in 25 degrees, it's midday, it's Sunday. At least the beauty of it is, I think it has been raining in Eldoret for some time, so it is a little bit of an advantage.
And I couldn't help but notice the specks of grass on their shoulders. These champions of ours in the under 20 women's 6-kilometer race. The truth is that Lobo Village has really been transformed. It used to be much dustier than it is right now. But even from Google Earth shots, you will see an aerial view. You will see that there's more grass, which makes the conditions much, much better for racing, even in this overhead heat.
Absolutely. And I think what is important to be able to note is that these athletes need to be able to hydrate a lot. Of course, we have not seen these athletes trying to take water, because when you are running again cross country, sometimes when you want to, the same way we normally experience the marathon, they go and pick water. In this, you want to try and hydrate yourself, someone will be able to pass you. And I think that's why some of these athletes will really have maybe difficulty once they finish. For some of them, of course, some of them will be still able to walk, as we can see there. What is happening? Because surely, I can be able to understand. I can feel the kind of heat and the feeling that these athletes would be likely to have.
And this is characteristic of cross-country in the East African region. Back when the championships were held in Kampala or in Mombasa, the hot conditions were very tough for a lot of the European and American athletes. And I believe now we will head over to listen to Venenza Chebet, and she'll let us know her experience becoming the new under 6-kilometer women champion.
Anasoma shule ya upira St. Francis Kongit kule Mount Elgon.
So mazoezi yako unafanya kule Mount Elgon ama unafanya Iten ama Kapsabet?
Nafanyia kile Kaptama kam ya Shem Karoria.
Yeah, this year kuna competitions mingi ya youth na pia kuna school championships. Pengine target yako ni gani?
Lazima niingie school championship kwenye itakuwa cross country. Lazima nitaingia Ingmark.
Hawa athletes wakubwa akina Faith Kipyegon, Beatrice Chebet, Agnes, ni nani ambao unaonanga na kuinspire kwa kama?
Naonanga Beatrice Vieho. Nataka nikuwa kama yeye.
Tumpate aliyekuwa namba 2. Hebu songea hapo. Congratulations, anza na jina lako, tuambie unafanya wapi mazoezi na leo kukuwa namba 2 unajisikia aje?
My name is Lona Cherono, Haitanga Almighty God. Na train Sioi. Niko shule Tekla Lorupe. Yes.
Pengine hii mwaka unalenga kurepresent shule yako na pengine kuingia timu Kenya ya youth?
Yes, naenda kupiga training ili niweze nikashiriki Kenya races.
Event yako ni gani? Ni 5,000, ni 10,000 ama inakuanga gani?
5,000 na 3,000. Yes.
Sasa all the best, eh?
Yes, as you can hear from Venenza, who just talked about her training camp in Mount Elgon. And I think it is very impressive for something that she said. Shem Kororia, for those of you who may not know him, is a former athlete. Tekla Lorube is a former athlete. And these two athletes are training in those two camps. Venenza training with Shem Kororia and Lona training with Tekla Lorube group. Very impressive indeed to be able to see some of the retired athletes that have decided to have their own camps. And Manya, you can see these athletes who are winning. This is the third position. Let's listen to him, to her.
Kutoka Lemotit camp,
under coach Paul Keme. Mbio ya leo haikuwa mbaya, but challenge ilikuwa chua na upepo.
Target yako ukikuja ilikuwa gani? Target yako ilikuwa gani?
Target yangu nilikuwa nimeomba Mungu niende ni perform well.
Tactics gani uliweza kutumia? Tumeona competition imekuwa kali sana. Ulitumia tactics gani?
Tactics yangu nilikuwa najaribu kupiga fat leg, but sikuweza kuingia position 1, lakini nafurahi kwa hii namba yenye nimeshika.
Role model wako ni nani?
Kwanza nataka nishukuru coach wangu Paul Keme kwa sababu ni yeye amenitrain. Tena nataka nishukuru Sandra Felix Chebet because yeye ni mentor wangu, ananisaidia kwa mazoezi na tena ananifunza mambo ya discipline.
Hiyo kampi yenu imetoa athletes wengi sana youth. Pengine hiyo ndio inakuinspire uzidi kujituma.
Hiyo kampi yetu ilianza 2015 na bado inaendelea vizuri. Tukienda huko mbele, tukiendelea kwenda huko mbele, tunaona ina perform well. Yeah.
Sana, all the best.
And that's right. That rounds up the podium. Venenza Chebet is a new champion of the Sirikwa under 26 kilometers women's race. Lona Cherono follows in second. Cynthia Chepkurui not managing to defend her title, but still making it to third position and walking away with a pretty sum of $800 US. That is the confirmation of the results of the under-20 women 6-kilometer race.
Yeah, and I think something that has been inspiring, Manya, and I think especially for this race this time down, there's so much that has been revealed in terms of training camps that has been there in this country. And I think maybe first and foremost, that's also the results of the first position to number. Then maybe I should just be able to read to you who is number one. So at number one is
Venenza Chebet.
Yeah, should be Venenza Chebet. Number two, Lona Cherono, Cynthia Chepkurui in third position. Linda Chepkemoi in fourth. Miriam Chemutai in fifth. Millicent Chepkonga in sixth place. Abigail Chepkorir in seventh. Masi Chemgeno Makezo in 8th place, Felista Chepkemoi in 9th place from Uganda, that is, at 9th place, and of course the top finishers in the 10th is Ruth Cherop in the 10th position. As you can see, the view, Manya, can you tell us about the view?
Beautiful aerial shots of Lobo village. Lobo actually means wolf in Spanish, and it's an ode to Ibrahim Hussein's alma mater, the University of New Mexico. He designed this course with 2 man-made hills, 2 mounds, some potted reeds that they need to hurdle, as well as a water shower and entertainment tent that they pass through. That's how the course is looking. Not much of it has changed, but this year, for about 430 meters, they run through the maize fields. Because Uasin Gishu is known as the breadbasket of Kenya. And it's an ode to the maize farming that takes place there.
Absolutely. As you can see there, those will be the 8 kilometers under 20, where it has attracted more than, I believe...
about 98 entries.
About 98 athletes who will be competing here. Of course, for the women, 6 kilometers, those who competed, Manya, was 135. And that's why I've said the one thing that maybe it has broken the record this time around is the number of athletes that have been able to register here. Because to get in elite athletes, 98 athletes running under 8 kilometers, remember that, this was invitational. It means every of these athletes could have qualified in one way or another. And by the time you have a country that have got over 98 athletes that could have achieved a qualifying time for them to be able to be invited into this Sirikwa Cold Tour cross-country, it tells you that what is the class of athletics. And there is a start of the 8 kilometers under 20. Remember, this is going to be 4 laps. As always, the beginning, it is a sprint because everybody wants to be in front because there is so many curves that you would otherwise be forced to be, going all the way around. And the best way to do Manya is to be at least in the front so that you don't have a lot of jostle inside there that would be there.
That's right. And an athlete to look out for, perhaps the favorite, would be Emmanuel Kiprono, who was a national champion in the men's 8-kilometer race for the junior men, as well as Franklin Andrew Alamisi, also who was a third position, won the bronze medal at the national championships, and he'll also be represented here today.
Yeah, others are Johnson Kamau Njoki, Alex Mwaka, Christopher Thuita, and Brian Kiprotich are among the top athletes who are here, including Kiptanoi Haron, Emmanuel Kipchirchir, Kevin Kiprov, of course. But as it looks already, as you can be able to see, already the race has started, and it seems like this is going to be a really, really very fast competition that we will be able to witness, especially for these under 20. Otherwise, what you used to, or it was to be called juniors, but nowadays, we don't have the juniors, but we have the under 20. As you can see, 98 athletes are battling out, but remember that, the prizes will go from position number 1 to number 10, and of course, these guys will have the same experience. I don't know, Manya, or it's just by the look, but it looks like maybe it's a little bit cloudy right now compared to some few minutes ago when the girls under 20 were running, because it looks like it was really sunny. And if it happens that it's a little bit cloudy, of course it gives an advantage to the athletes when they are competing. They won't really have a lot of heat issues, and as you can see there is the water that can be able to cool them, because definitely these athletes need to be cooled at some point.
The degrees right now, the temperature is 26, and that's the highest temperature that I guess we will that will be experienced today. 26 degrees Celsius with a humidity of 30% and wind of 14 kilometers per hour. So these are really tough conditions by any stretch of the imagination, but we have very strong representation. We were able to sweep the podium at the Tallahassee World Cross Country Championships, and so we'll see if that will be something that we can yet again remind everyone that is watching and competing that really Kenya has some of the best world-class talent in the world.
Yeah, just to inform you, the athletes who are currently in the lead is Kelvin Mudhi, Wangeshi, there with Johnson Kamau Njoki, Alex Mwaka, Christopher Thuida, currently in the leading back. And it looks like it's going to stay maybe for the next 1 or 2 laps like that. But of course, we will be able to see what will happen as the race continues. But we have over 15 athletes in the leading back. That tells you how prepared these athletes are, how they have been able to manage their training currently. I remember that most of these athletes, Manya, they have talked about not much actually in terms of preparation, but at least, they need to come here. And I think that is one of the reasons, Manya, why most of the elite as well, especially with the prize money, because when you come here, you compete, you finish the top 10, you won't be going home empty-handed.
That's right. And Kenya, the Kenyan under-20 men's team did superbly well in Florida last month. We swept the podium with Franklin Kibet, Emmanuel Kiprono, and Andrew Alamisi, as well as taking the team title because Brian Kandie came in 6th position and Edwin Elkanah 8th position. So that's the kind of dominance that we'll see here today. except that maybe the Ethiopian team wasn't as lucky. They had visa issues and were not able to travel at all and travel in time. So, of course, their teams were smaller, not as strong, really not the kind of outcome that one would desire. But, it played out well, and Kenya took the gold, both individual and team.
Yes, you can see there inside there are a lot of fans who have come to attend and they are really enjoying themselves. I think sometimes, Manya, if I may say so, that for me, when I see fans, enjoying athletics, guys who are in action, but everybody else who goes there, they are able to have their own fun. Because remember that the athletes who go there, it is their job that they are doing. For the people who go to support them, of course, make fun, support the athletes that you want to support them. And I think it has been very impressive, especially for Sirikwa Classic, which it is in the 5th edition. If you look at the start, the number of entry athletes who are there. I remember, Manya, when we were talking about 2,000 athletes, and we used to think that 2,000 athletes is a big number. But you can imagine now that we are at 5,000, and this is just cross-country. For all of you out there, remember that most of the time, it is the marathons that has a big entry and not cross-country. But in Kenya, this is where every entry of any race, it always attracts a huge number. And I think outside the athletes, also a lot of fans, as you can see from our aerial shots from our camera guys.
That's absolutely right. And they go over the man-made hill one more time. Festus Kimoro was actually 3rd place last year and is now competing in the senior men's race. So Festus Kimoro has graduated, and we don't have a defense from Kelvin Kiprop and Franklin Kibet either, likely because now they are senior athletes. But it's time now for Emmanuel Kipkorir, who is the world champion. Emmanuel Kipkorir, who actually came in 2nd place at the World Championship, silver medalist, is now in the lead, followed by Elkanah Edwin. Elkanah Edwin also posted very, very good results, coming in 8th at the World Championships earlier last month. And in 3rd position, is Thomas Cheptoek, Brian Kiptarus, Wesley Kiplagat Kipkoech, Kelvin Kiprop Biwot. And, we'd have to keep going because the lead pack still looks very compact. No one's really no one really has a decisive lead. And that could be the right strategy to adopt because you have 3 more laps to go after you finish your first one.
Actually, just to tell you how this group is, Manya, is that there's only a difference of 3 seconds between the first and I believe number 18. There's only a margin of 3 seconds. It tells you how close this race. And I think something very important to be able to mention to you is Thomas Cheptoek, who is currently in 3rd position, is from Uganda. This race actually has been attracting so many countries. I think I've seen Ukraine, I've seen Japan, there is Uganda, there is Germany, there is Tanzanians as well. So it has really attracted a huge number of athletes. And it tells you by the time that you have a Ugandan in this race who is in 3rd position, it means that athlete is strong because, again, some of these athletes, as you have mentioned, Manya, is that they were in the World Cross Country the other day, it's about 2 weeks ago, and here they are still competing. And when you get a Ugandan who has come here to compete, it tells you the level of this competition.
80 foreign athletes is the number of foreign athletes from other countries that are participating at the Sirikwa Classic cross country. And that's double the number from last year because last year we had 40 foreign athletes. So we keep growing. And that's part of the reason why Sirikwa cross country looks like a small tumble there. And that is expected really with the amount of bends and turns and the hairpins that you will find on such a cross country course.
Yeah, sure. Manya, I look at it and I was like, what could have exactly happened? Remember that, I have said there's very sharp curves that if you are not careful as you approach it, it is easy for you to be able to trip your fellow athlete. And I think there, at least they were able to save themselves, because you do not want to either be spiked, you don't want to fall to injure yourself, because, Manya, let me tell you, if there is something that every athlete fears so much, is getting an injury, and especially at the beginning of the season, because that will affect your the entire season, the entire year. And I think it is sometimes good to see kind of sportsmanship that one wants to fall, somebody else will be able to try and help them, so that they don't go, as we could be able to see there.
If you are just tuning in, you are watching the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country Meet, the last meet on the Gold Tour, and NTV, as per usual, is the official broadcaster of the world or an international feed this afternoon. Quality broadcast and live streaming coverage is a requirement from World Athletics for any meeting on the cross-country Gold Tour, and NTV is making this happen. Title sponsor, Absa, also should get a mention. They've been supporting athletics events in Kenya and really just investing in our athletes that are becoming some of the best in the world, as well as the partners, the national and county governments, the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, Uasin Gishu County Government, World Athletics, of course, and Athletics Kenya has also done an exceptional job in organizing this event, adhering to World Athletics standards and regulations. We spoke about how Athletics Kenya has established more than 57 development camps for talent across the country, aimed at identifying and nurturing young talent. And this is where such athletes come from. And we see in the lead, it is Kiprono Emmanuel Kipkorir, who's made a break for it. Maybe we have one more lap to go. Am I right, Bungei?
Yeah. One more lap to go, Manya. And it is interesting that since the beginning of this event, we have not seen anyone who breaks at least one lap to go. But in this case, Emmanuel Kiprono has decided to break away, and he needs to be able, because one lap is still 6 minutes in that one lap, and therefore what he actually needs is to be able to maintain, because you never know also what the others have done. But of course, most of the time, an athlete will be able to listen to his body, and that is when you see them making the move. As you can see there, he was tackling the mud-made hill that is there, still able to make the curves so quickly. And I will tell you this, Manya, the biggest advantage that you can take as an athlete, once you are in front, remember that you can decide to make the quickest curve, the immediate curve, when you are alone, rather than, for example, when you are in a big group, it becomes a little bit difficult, and therefore Kipkorir would have more of an advantage. But of course, he needs to remember that the others are also chasing. But as it looks like, he's even able to look back and see where they are. Because a good athlete, Manya, is the one that listens to his body, and I think that is what Emmanuel is saying.
And I think, I beg your pardon, I believe we have 2 more laps to go. Emmanuel Kiprono is actually the national champion. That is who we are watching at this time. And he managed to come away with the silver medal at the Tallahassee cross-country championships earlier in January. And the thing about this Emmanuel's strategy is, I believe he's confident. He's been national champion, probably expected a better result from his performance in Tallahassee, maybe wanted the gold, but just wasn't the better athlete on the day. And so when he breaks away with 2 more laps to go, he's looking to increase his lead, to make his lead a decisive lead. And he's likely feeling good. And maybe, the weather, the temperature, the altitude is something that he's used to. This is his playground, and he wants to make a name for himself at the Sirikwa Classic.
Yeah, as you can see there, Emmanuel still stretching the whole group. I think he's almost giving over 100 meters to the chasing group, if I'm not wrong. As you can see, it's still increasing, and you are right, Manya. They are still in the second lap, coming to the third lap, meaning more than 1 lap and 3/4, which is, you would put it at 3 kilometers, maybe 3.8 kilometers. But the confidence he has, and as you rightly put it, Manya, that he could have been in Tallahassee going for gold. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it, but wants to prove a point here that, you know what, I think maybe I was not ready. And maybe something just to bring to our viewers is that some of these athletes, they go to a competition and they have not really picked at their top at the time of the competition, because remember, cross country, most of the time, some athletes prepare for it in February, but of course this came in January, and some of them could have not been, just the same way the lady who won the 6 kilometers, and she was supposed to have been the winner in Tallahassee, could have not been at 100% readiness there. And I think with Emmanuel, looks like his training, his peak is good at the moment. And I think that is the reason why he's able to stretch everyone else. As you can see, a lot of fans there who are there to watch Manya.
Barring any disaster, I believe that Emmanuel Kiprono has a very decisive lead and will likely walk away the champion, barring any disaster, because at this point, Elkanah is about more than 10 seconds behind him, and Wesley, as well as Wesley Kiplagat, Kipkoech. But these are some of the interesting stats about Emmanuel. He actually was 4th at the national championships in Eldoret back in February, and then ended up being first this year. First for this season, still in the national championships in Eldoret. So he's been making progress, just continuing to get better. He's only 17 years of age, and when you look at him, his height is deceptive because he's actually a very, very young person. Walked away with the silver medal, but today wants to put his foot down and really say that Emmanuel Kiprono is an athlete to watch.
Absolutely, and it tells you that, Kenya is safe when you see such kind of athletes making a decisive decision to take the lead. Because actually, Manya, it's I would call it being courageous, because for anyone to make a break, especially 2 laps to go, it is very courageous, it's very encouraging. And I think for those of us who are retired, we are happy that we are able to see these athletes. We know that Kenya is safe moving forward in terms of distance running, in terms of cross-country running, in terms of even the shape that these guys are in. As you can see there, he should be going for the last lap right now. I think so. We will be able to inform you exactly what's happening. Which lap are they in? Still in the second, coming to the 3rd lap. And Manuel still pushing along. And we have, of course, Edwin Elkanah and Wesley Kiplagat in tow there. Actually, Edwin alone is just trying to chase Emmanuel. And we will see whether he will be able to catch or not. They are approaching the hill that we have talked about, and that is, Manya, where it gets a little bit difficult for athletes, because remember that, you get this slopey area, you run, and then the next thing that you have is you get a hill, which becomes more of a difficulty. So it challenges you. I think we had the juniors there, when they were talking about I ran fartlek, and most people would be asking themselves, what is fartlek? A fartlek is a situation whereby an athlete moves a little bit slower and then pushes hard, slow, hard. I think that is what Emmanuel has tried to do before he broke away. Of course, he has got to be able to maintain, because what will be very important is for him to be able to maintain once you break, because in the other case, sometimes you pay the last. So as we can see there,
Edwin Elkanah also coming in second, really trailing Emmanuel Kiprono. And he also looks like he has a point to prove. He was 4th in the nationals. He's only 18 years of age and 8th in the world. I mean, he must have felt a little disappointed for not podiuming. And this time, maybe he wants to say, you know what, I'm actually podium material. Edwin Elkanah trailing Emmanuel Kiprono.
Actually, there is changes, Manya, already. Wesley Kiplagat is the one who is on the 2nd place right now. having dropped Elkanah, has moved back to 4th position. And currently, Andrew Kiprop is sitting on 3rd place. But of course, Emmanuel still has given a distance that it will take a lot of work for Wesley Kiplagat and Andrew Kiptor to be able to catch him, depending on what he can be able to do from here. Because as the race continues, it becomes more and more difficult. And as an athlete, if you would have pushed yourself more, it is easy for you to pay a price of not being able to make any changes in terms of speed towards the end when you would have pushed yourself. But as the things looks like, Emmanuel is still safe, having already given his competitors a longer distance.
Emmanuel Kiprono still leading, national champion, now seeking to become Sirikwa cross-country under-20 men's champion. A bit disappointed, likely, by his performance, but really he shouldn't have been because he did so well as well at the Worlds. So for now, it looks like the live link is telling us that Kiprono Emmanuel is still leading, followed closely by Emmanuel Kiplagat, who's 20 plus seconds away. So there's a 20-second differential between the first and second position. And barring any disaster, this should be a win in the bag for Emmanuel Kiprono.
Yeah, as you can see there, really pushing, and we have Wesley coming to the other curve there. And remember that as it looks like, again, we have sunny conditions right now. Temperatures 26 degrees. It's a little bit tough. You know, you can imagine when you have to do cross country at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, especially in Eldoret, where most residents understands that Eldoret is a little bit hot, especially in December, January, February, and sometimes all the way to March. But of course, what will be important to observe is that most of these athletes also had to prepare before coming here. As you can see, Emmanuel there jumping those barriers, the reed barriers, which has been created as one of the things that helps in cross-country. It makes a difference between a cross-country and maybe road races and track. Because in cross-country, you will get the hilly that in this case has been man-made. And then we have the jumping reeds, which will make also these athletes feel a little bit tired. It makes you actually feel more tired. But that is how you are able to build strength and become a cross-country athlete. As in this country, Manya, we have had two greats, that is Paul Tergat and John Ngugi, who both of them won 5 times. As you can see there, I think he's coming to the finish.
Emmanuel Kiprono, only 17 years of age, coming from the North Rift, determined to take this victory. Emmanuel Kiprono was a national champion and is now looking yet again to become Sirikwa champion. And winning is just something that he does. When you see him waving his finger in the air, he's really saying that I am it. I am the person that you should look out for. And I love the sprint finish as he's going for the tape. Emmanuel Kiprono is our new Sirikwa Classic champion in 2026.
Emmanuel, who decided to take a lead or a break in the 3rd lap, of course, has come in as the winner, followed by Wesley.
Wesley Kiplagat Kipkoech, of course, taking his last turn and making a charge for the finish line. And he'll be coming in 2nd position. Not too bad to walk away with $1,000 and $1,250 for Emmanuel Kiprono. And in 3rd position, we should be able to tell any minute now as he slows down across the finish line. And that should be Andrew Kiptor Kiprop. Andrew Kiptor Kiprop rounds up the podium. Exactly. That is actually Edwin. We will give you confirmation. Actually, we will give you confirmation of the actual final results.
Yeah, and something very interesting here, as we saw Emmanuel, and I think this is the first experience that we have had a huge gap between first position and second, where Emmanuel gave everybody 27 seconds, and giving the third person 40 seconds after he finished. But of course, the most important thing is to be able to finish in the podium or at least in the top 10. But sometimes as athletes also, it is good to have been able to participate in the Sirikwa because you have entered in the history of Sirikwa entry list.
And I think now we can confirm that it was actually Edwin Elkanah, 18-year-old, 4th at the Nationals, 8th in the world, and is now coming in 3rd position, taking the bronze medal at the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country Championship. At the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country race, we'll be handing over to the Keter and team on the field to get some interviews from our winners today.
Yeah, sorry for that. I think we haven't found the winners yet, and we will be going to Keter. We'll be going to Keter when he is ready to interview our winners. But something very important to bring to you is that Elkanah himself, who was taking the lead at certain point, or he was in the 2nd position, would drop.
Emmanuel, congratulations. Tumeona joto imekuwa kali sana hii masaa. Pengine ilikupa challenge yote?
Kichwa ilikuwa sawa, ilikuwa medium. Lakini niona tu mwili unataka iende sawa iende.
Tuliona last year ulishinda National Championships ambayo ilikuwa ya this year, na pia ukaenda World Championship ukakuwa number 2. Hiyo ulikuja na ilikupa morali ya siku ya leo?
Niliona leo as suppose niende huko tena nilienda kupata silver again, niliona hiyo si best yangu. Niliona leo ngoja niende alafu nipishe ile nyingine ni World Cross Country.
Sasa ndio season inaanza, cross country season imeisha, tunaingia track. Pengine lengo lako ni gani this year?
Sasa track nataka niende 5000 na 3000. Na sababu nichukue gold tena.
Tunajua ni mwanafunzi, una balance aje mazoezi na pia kuweza kusoma?
Naenda darasa, jioni naenda mazoezi. Asubuhi by 6:50 to 6:30 naenda mazoezi. After hapo nikuja naenda garage sasa nasoma tena.
Saizi uko form?
Niko form 3.
Asante, all the best.
There you had Emmanuel Kiprono himself telling us that he's still a student and therefore he will prepare for a number of races that will be going on during the season. Remember that most of these guys who are under 20 are still students, and I think it will be very important for them to continue. Of course, remember that we have the World Junior or the under 20 that will be going on in June in Eugene. So he talked about training for the 5,000 meters and maybe 10,000 meters. So probably that is where we will see him next, when he will be preparing, or at least during the trials for the under 20 before the selection to be able to represent the country in June. Emmanuel there, that he was able.
Competition imekuwaje leo?
Competition leo akiwa mbaya pile, but nilijaribu. Ya kwanza ningependa kushukuru Mungu kwa maana yeye alinipea nguvu, akanipea speed nikimaliza nikiwa strong, na steps nilipungua steps, mwili ukakubali, nikatoroka nikapata mwenye alikuwa mbele cha alipungua reaction.
Tumeona umefuata Emmanuel ambaye ni your classmate pale kwa shule na pia ni your training mate. Pengine kufanya mazoezi pamoja, ulikuwa ukimuona mbele, ulikuwa unajua utamshika vile unamshika kwa mazoezi ama ilikuwa aje?
Tukienda mazoezi anatangulia, mimi nafuatanga long run, speed wa kila kitu ni hivyo. Yeah.
What is your future? Ungependa kukua kama athlete mgani ambao ukimuona hivi unasema this is my role model?
Ningependa kuwa kama world record na Kipchoge, John Goril wenye wamejulikana sana, ningewa ni mmoja wao.
So all the best.
Yes, and that's Wesley Kiplangat Kipkoech saying that Eliud Kipchoge and John Korir are his idols. John Korir makes a rare home appearance today. The Boston Marathon champion, Boston and Chicago Marathon champion, will be competing in the senior men's 10-kilometer race, and he will go head-to-head against Ebenyo. They have an interesting rivalry because they've competed at the Boston Marathon, at the Chicago Marathon twice. The John Korir won in 2024. Ebenyo came out 5th. And last year, Ebenyo finished 13th. And Korir DNF'd. He failed to finish. So this should be an interesting warm-up for John Korir as he's planning to defend his title in Boston later on in April this year.
Yeah, and I think, Manya, something that will be very important is that, as an athlete who is at the top right now, you need to understand that you are inspiring more others. How you behave, how you conduct yourself will depend, because, something that is very important is it is so inspiring to hear this, that I am looking at so-and-so. There are the results, Emmanuel being the first, and I think, Manya, you can give us the first 10 list, if you have it.
Right. Emmanuel Korir is a champion.
Emmanuel alitoka mapema sana akawaacha mapema. Pengine wakati ulikuwa unafuata kwa mind yako nini ilikuwa inaendelea?
Nasikia hukumu. Vile alikuwa ameenda mbele. Alikuwa anajipanga kwenda, lakini shirika yameenda. Yeah.
Tuliona temperatures zilikuwa zimepanda sana. Pengine ilikuwa affect kidogo ama wewe ulikuwa sawa naye?
Nilikuwa sawa tu. Yeah.
Saizi tumemaliza the cross country season, tunaingia track. Pengine event yako ni gani and what is your target this season?
3,000 and 5,000. Yeah, na 10,000. Yeah, nilikimbia mwaka jana mpaka nje so nje. Yeah, nikakuwa number 3 for 10,000 Nigeria. Yeah.
Sasa unafanya mazoezi wapi?
Mount Elgon, of 0. Yeah.
Asante and all the best.
18 years of age, very confident, sounding very confident, a man of few words. And he says that his plan for this season is the 3,000, the 5,000, and the 10,000. Really just one of the classic kind of distance runners that we produce in this country. And it should be interesting to see the kind of representation that we get. And I promise you, Wilfred, that some of these athletes will be representing Kenya in 2028 at the LA Olympics or in 2032 as well.
Absolutely, because the kind of talent that I notice, or even the way these guys run, the kind of talent that we have in this country, in these camps, is on another level. And I think Kenya is safe as far as running is concerned, because if you look at these guys, also something that is beautiful to hear also is when they have those guys who inspire them, they have been able to run for some time. Because what we need to be able to encourage these athletes, especially those who are running Manya as juniors now under 20, is for them to look at the bigger picture, that they need to understand that they will be competing for the next 10 years. We need to be able to see them all through, always being consistent. But as I look at the way they do run, I can promise Kenyans, and I can say that, these guys have talent, they have the discipline, and you can see from their eyes the urge to win.
That's right. And there's still some athletes running. Of the 98 entries that we got, there's still some people currently running. But this is a look at how the race played out. Emmanuel Kipkorir was bunched up with everybody else for most of the race. And then with 2 laps to go, which is about the halfway mark, made a break for the win. Emmanuel Korir, who actually is only Emmanuel Korir, only 17 years of age, national champion, and was second at the World Championships, was determined to come away with a win here at the Sirikwa Classic, followed closely by Wesley Kiplagat Kipkoech, and in third position, Edwin Elkanah. Edwin also has international experience, having represented Kenya in Florida, and coming 8th in the world, coming 8th in the world, but was 4th in the national championships. Nehemiah Kipngeno then came in 4th. Bilith Boy, Kevin Kiprop Biwot, Meshach Kipruto, and Kelvin Kiprop Biwot, we can actually speak about him. He came in 6th position today, but was the champion from last year's Sirikwa Classic. So it looks like he tried to defend his title, but was not quite successful. But top 10 is not too shabby, because he also ends up walking away with $300 US. It might be a little less than what he got last year, but that's not a bad effort at all. Then you have Mesha Kipruto, Brian Kipto, Andrew Kipto Kiprop, and Nicholas Losiwareng rounding up the top 10 positions in the men's under 20 race.
Yeah, and as you can see on your screen, those should be the 10 kilometers women that should be starting now. And I think notable names, Manya, to be able to talk about in the 10 kilometers women.
Yes, the senior women's 10-kilometer race is going to be probably one of the most action-packed of them all. I believe we have 3 more minutes to go, because according to the timetable, the program, it says that we will be underway at 2:25. So about 3 minutes. But you can tell the women have their hands on their watches. They're ready to go. Agnes Ngetich is likely the greatest highlight of this competition, as she's looking to defend her title. Agnes Jebet Ngetich also says that she is she runs in honor of the late Agnes Jebet Tirop, who lost her life. If you remember, Bungay, back in 2022, during the first edition, this event was known as the Agnes Tirop Memorial. But then the name changed with the additions, the consequent additions. So Agnes Jebet Ngetich, speaking about the influence that athletes like Agnes Jebet Tirop have had on her, and may her soul rest in peace.
Yeah, actually, talking about that, I saw also Emmanuel Wanyonyi there. He was having a T-shirt that there was written Agnes. It was written actually Tirop's Angels, which is in memory of the late Agnes, that this race, as you have just put it, was named before. And I think something very interesting is that, this elite 10 kilometers women has attracted over about 200 athletes, as you can see there, and it tells you that most of these athletes, and especially the defending champions, they are here. All the other athletes who came from other countries, they are all here because they want to have the experience. It is not only for the prize money for these athletes, but also for them to be able to remain as an athlete, because for them, there is nothing much to be able to prepare for. As we have had, most of them, if you ask them about their plans for the year, none of them have actually a clear plan, because without any major championships like the Olympics and the World Championships, it puts athletes in a way that they have nothing more or nothing much to focus but run every race here and there. And that's why you find most of the elite athletes are here. So we have 200 athletes we have there. They have gone.
And indeed, they are underway. We will soon see Agnes Jebet Ngetich as well as Uganda's Joy Cheptoyek jostling for the positions at the lead. And really, if you know Agnes Jebet Ngetich, she is not a 2-time world record holder in the 10-kilometer road race, both the mixed and the women only, for no reason. She's a very forward, front-running type of athlete and just goes for it. Her endurance is really something that can be spoken about. But as we said, yes, she is the reigning world cross-country champion as of January this year, and is going to be defending her title because she was the Sirikwa Classic champion last year, followed by Janet Chepngetich and Miriam Chebet. Interesting that she has a primary challenger in Uganda's Joy Cheptoyek, the world cross-country silver medalist. And other contenders will be Maureen Chabor, who is a national champion, Karen Chebet, Catherine Verleen, who is now competing for Qatar, so or Turkey, so could have possibly changed her name, Lois Chekwemoi and Martha Chemutai.
Yeah, nice. There's the race start already. Vivian?
Agnes
is in front right now. Yeah. as you rightly put it, that she's a front runner, making a decision that what I am going to do here is to make sure that she does not get herself boxed in. And as you can see there, very much focused, looking at the track, being able to observe so that at the end of the day, nothing happens to you as an athlete in the circuit. As you can see, really pushing ahead. And I think this will be very interesting, Manya, that you have a push from the beginning. You know, we watched the other race, they were all together, and then Emmanuel decided to break at around halfway mark. But in this case, Agnes has decided to just break from the beginning, because what is important here is you as an athlete, you are able to understand your body, knows that, I am ready, and you don't fear anything. Because in the other case, if you are not sure about yourself, which Agnes is not, she's sure of herself, you would easily want to sit back and watch everybody and not being used as a pacemaker. But when you have prepared for it, then definitely that is the experience you are able to see.
And when you're running against the likes of Agnes Jabet, who's not scared of front running from gun to tape, you really have to pace yourself, because she has a special kind of endurance. And that's just her running, that's her style, right? So for a lot of these athletes, I think it would be prudent to find your pace, find your rhythm, and sort of just tuck in and see when to charge, when to kick. But Joy Cheptoyek is determined to keep up with Agnes to the best of her ability, because this is similar to the pictures that we witnessed in Florida, in Tallahassee, where Joy tried to keep up. Uganda's Joy is trying to keep up with Agnes Jepngetich, and I'd like to see what she determines to do as the race continues. Will she pull back just to sort of reserve her energy for the finish?
Yeah, of course. Remember that with Agnes, she has though we normally say that there is no advantage, the home crowd advantage. But of course, even for Joy herself, I think she has competed here before. So she isn't so new to the track. And the beauty of it, Manya, is that, this course has never changed much in terms of the terrain, in the difficulties, all the barriers that they have put, they have not tried to increase. But something interesting, and I know everybody is watching right now and holding their breath, is how Agnes Jepngetich is currently pushing, because everyone will be looking at this race, asking themselves, how comes, one athlete will come and be able to dominate the race from the gun and really still be able to push. But of course, the most important thing is an athlete who comes to a race, Manya, being ready both physically and mentally. And I think that is what Agnes is able to show us here.
Agnes Jabet, we're obviously going to see a lot of pictures of her as she dominates and is in the lead pack. But we have a quality field in the name of Maureen Chabor. Maureen Chabor is actually the national champion. Karen Chabet as well will be represented here. We had a switch of allegiance from Njoki, Mariam Njoki. She was formerly known as Christine Njoki, but is now running for Qatar. And she won the 35th edition of the Discovery Cross Country race just a few weeks ago, a fortnight ago, I believe. And so she says that the recent triumph is really giving her a lot of confidence. So Mariam Yafti Njoki of Qatar, formerly Christine Njoki, will now be also seeking to make a name for herself and represent her now new country.
Yeah, this is, we have seen these cases of many athletes moving. Of course, it is sports, and I think they're allowed because, again, we're a powerhouse. If somebody, in one way or the other, they find themselves being in that country and they have to be able to run for that country, it is now the work for the Kenyans, those who are running for Kenya, to make sure that at least, they do well. Because most of the time, I know most fans, they will see someone in different flag. But of course, we're always very proud that, still is Kenyan as much as, the medal has gone to another country. But coming back to the race, Manya?
No, I just wanted to mention that also returning is Catherine Relin Amang Nangole. And she's changed her citizenship to Turkey. And that made the news not too long ago, including Bridget Kosgei. Those are now athletes seeking to compete for Turkey at the Olympics. So Catherine Relin Amang Nangole is now representing Turkey, and she's here today. We have athletes from Germany, from Ukraine, from South Africa, from Uganda. I'd like to know, though, in your day, Bungei, were you offered money to change allegiance?
Well,
to transfer allegiance?
Absolutely not. I don't think that that happens. But of course, for those who change, maybe it is for them to be able to talk about that. But coming to Agnes, and I think this would be the talk of the race for anyone who could have attended, who is watching on NTV right now. This is Agnes Chepet Ngetich, who is in the front in the 10 kilometers, having won recently the World Cross Country Championships. And as you can see, is really in top form, because Manya, to compete in the World Championships and being able to win 2 weeks ago tells you that, you still have in your body the kind of form that you would love to be able to compete here. And I think, as we have said and repeated again, that it is very inspiring to see these top athletes who just won World Championships the other day coming back home and being able to compete at Sirikwa. Also, something very important to be able to mention is the organizers being able to make sure that, these athletes also are invited and they are able to participate. They are able to come and show the fans, their families, to inspire children. Because Agnes here was running the other day, and right now, as I said earlier on, the athletes, for example, those young ones, the over 3,500 who competed this morning, they competed in the same track or the same course that these athletes are running. And it becomes inspiring. And I think it makes many of us that love athletics to be able to see this happening and continuing to expand. As you can see, where they are passing right now is where the water point shower, do you call it shower, Manya, or what?
Yeah, the shower, the sprinkler. it's basically their bodies are getting cooler for a few seconds.
Yeah, and that is something very important for these athletes to be able to have there. As you can see, Agnes still stretching. She doesn't look back at all, but making sure that at least she pushes and pushes more. Because sometimes, you try again to be able to compete with time. When you run against yourself or when you are in front, then you try to be able to beat time, because already maybe I would not call it a guaranteed win right now, but of course she's going for it. As you can see, still pushing, a lot of power in her body, and not even looking back. And I think that is something that is very impressive.
What a strong athlete. She really did win the Sirikwa Classic the previous edition in a similar fashion. And you will remember that Faith Kipyegon was her main contender. And Faith, for a while, managed to keep up with her. But then in the end, Agnes just proved too dominant. And the conditions are a bit tough for Faith because it was very, very hot. And Faith had just now begun to open her season. But Agnes Ngetich, this is exactly the kind of running that we expect from her. And barring any disaster, she's without a doubt the favorite to win this race today.
Yeah, as you can see, she has a lot of experience in cross country, because you would see that we have athletes who are very good in track, and we have got those athletes who could also be very good in cross country. But Agnes has indicated that she's very good in the cross country. And I think shortly the podium will be coming, and I think we will be able to bring you that. But for now, we continue with the 10 kilometers, currently on the second lap of the race. As these 10 kilometers should be 5 laps that will be going on. and already on going to the second lap and 3 laps to be able to go. We will be able to tell you the time, and also just to bring you up to speed who are following Agnes, because for a long time now we have talked about the winner, and Manya, that is the disadvantage of having one athlete that really stays alone because cameras will be able to stick to her, but you should be able to know who is following Agnes Chebet-Ngetich is Faith Chirono in about 12 seconds, 13 seconds there behind. Desila Chirono on third place. Joy Cheptoek has moved, who was in second place as is currently now sitting on fourth place. Mercy Chepkemoi on fifth place. Catherine Riliena Manangole on sixth place. Janet Chemgetich seventh. Diana Cheptek Chiropen at eighth place. Sharon Chirotich 9. Cynthia Chemgeno in 10th place.
And Agnes has quite the resume when it comes to cross country. Back in 2023, she was the bronze medalist at the World Championships. In 2024, she wasn't feeling her best. At least that's what her coach told me. So she ended up coming in fourth. And in 2026, this year, back in Tallahassee, Florida, Agnes Chebet-Ngetich proved to everyone as to why her name should go down as one of the greats in cross-country running in the world.
Yeah, and it is good, Manya, to maybe just get off just a little bit. You remember last year during the World Championships, women dominated the athletics, and almost all the medals, gold medal except for Emmanuel, were coming from women. And talking about that, why do I talk about it is Agnes, to me, proves to be one athlete that will dominate the cross country, because remember that in Kenya we have not had one person who dominated cross country the same way the two gentlemen Paul Terkat and John Gugi dominated. And I think Agnes, looking at the way she's competing, having come from winning the World Championships, if she prepares well, she can be one of the greatest cross country runners here in Kenya, especially representing female athletes, if I may say so, because we have had other champions before, but not really dominating continuously for many years. But I think Agnes has that chance the way she's already running here, and she's a master of cross country, if I may say so, Manya.
Right, and at the World Championships in Tokyo, she managed to participate in the 5,000 meters and the 10,000 meters. So she also has incredible track experience. But she only came up 15th in the 5,000 meters and 4th, yet again, just missing the podium in the 10,000 meters back in Tokyo in September. So Agnes, I believe, just wants to win everything that she can possibly win. And what a treat for us when our own local athletes prioritize participating in world-class events in our country.
Yeah, and something very interesting that I've been able to observe here is that Agnes, for example, has given between number 1 and number 10, for example, somebody who is sitting on 10 position is behind by close to 1 minute to Agnes. That tells you what is the distance that Agnes really has run. And even in terms of the second position also, she has over 10 seconds. Yeah, over 35 seconds right now. And that's huge. That's a huge gap. So I think we would call it that we can assume that Agnes is really safe right now to be able to defend her title here with a very good margin and also a big win for her.
That's right. Agnes Chebet-Ngetich, just like was expected, is in the lead with by the second lap. She clocked a second lap time of 6 minutes, 19 seconds. That was a split. A split, you would call it. The second lap, she ran it in 6 minutes, 19 seconds, meaning she's getting faster and just now running negative splits, which is something very, very unique because you'd expect someone to get slower.
Yeah, I think that is a very good observation, Manya, because when you have a negative split, it means that athlete is really stronger because still pushing and pushing, because what you would expect is that as the race winds up, you will expect always that it's going to be a little bit slower. But in this case for Agnes, she's not even slowing at all, but still being able to push. As she realized, I think one of the reasons why she would have decided to make a move immediately is, if you look at the first lap, she realized that it was very slow and needed to push. Because if you see, running the first lap at 6:48 and now doing 6:19 tells you removing 20 seconds is a huge margin. Over 20 seconds, actually, almost 30 seconds from the first lap and the second lap is a huge margin, and it is a huge increase in terms of speed, in terms of pace. Is making more sure that, the more she moves ahead, the more the pace is a little bit harder. And of course, it will be difficult for the others. And that's why you are able to see the difference in terms of the time that she has to everyone else and keeps on increasing.
And I think it's from the live link, we can tell that really the second to fifth placed athletes are still in the same pack. So there's going to be a run there for silver and bronze position. At this time, of course, Agnes Jebet Ngetich leading without question. Barring any disaster, she will retain, she will defend her title. And that's precisely what you expect from the world cross-country champion.
Yeah, and I think, Mercy Chepkemoi, Desila Cherono, Joy Cheptoek of Uganda, who is currently sitting on 4th place, and Catherine Manangole, Janet Chemgetich, about five athletes, Manya, that will be competing or will be sprinting most likely. Because what happened actually is that once you have an athlete who has taken a lead, for example, what Agnes has done, the rest has to remain in a pack. And I think, as we can see, about 5 athletes are all in the chasing pack, and therefore they will be really kicking, especially the changes that will happen towards the end will automatically be a kick, because they have got to look for the second and third position, the bottom position. And I think this will be the most interesting part. Of course, Agnes is in her own shape, if I may call that, on form. And that's why she's doing what she's doing. She has really, really proven to be a cross-country champion.
Right, and she's now just completing her third lap of the circuit with 2 more laps to go. Agnes Jebet, always so dominant. And, we have to speak about doping as a challenge that we're facing in Kenya. There have been strict anti-doping protocols that have been put in place to ensure that all competitors are eligible and clean, and age verification measures. And this is important for World Athletics to keep us with our World Gold Tour status.
Yeah, and I think, Manya, what we need to be able to give credit to is at least Kenya has tried to make sure that, cheating is removed completely. Most important thing is also for the athletes, because currently when it comes to doping issues, people may think only that these people are really doping. Because, Manya, if I may just for 1 second, doping is another issue currently, because sometimes you miss doping, you can easily be banned, or even a country, because an athlete, misses doping,
tests.
Misses tests,
missed whereabouts,
missed to file whereabouts. Such kind of issues can also still be able to bring. So I think we cannot just make it a blanket that everybody is using drugs. I think I'm one person who has always advocated for clean sport, and I used to say that anyone who is found to have used prohibited substances should be completely banned if it is possible, so that at the end of the day we can be able to enjoy.
Do you mean completely banned for life?
Absolutely, because look, those of us that are watching at these athletics right now love what we see, and we would love to see the sport being clean always, so that we don't have somebody who was tarnished, unless other circumstances. Because if you are found to have used minor substances, then I believe that you should be banned. But missing tests and all that, you should be able to come back. Other substances also you should be able to come back, so that we can continue enjoying the sport that we see. We can enjoy seeing the fans who come there. You see those, I don't know if it is singers or acrobats, those who are there. So we want to see this action going on every now and then, and not this country being banned because of doping.
Right. And it's a tricky situation to be in category A as a country, because then as a Kenyan, you really have no reprieve if you miss tests or you miss to file your whereabouts. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich now casually lapping other athletes. That is just such a dominant performance from such a dominant contender.
I can tell you, I mean, for the first time, especially since we have covered this event for the past 5 years, maybe in exception of, I don't know which year was this, but I have not seen the kind of dominance that you have on a cross-country athlete, the one that leaves everybody behind. Of course, lapping is normal sometimes in athletics, but of course, being able to give almost, I think, more than a minute right now to the second person tells you that Agnes is on a level of her own. As we can see for sure, more than 20 seconds?
No, actually, you're about right. It is going to be like 45 minutes, almost a minute.
45 seconds. Yeah, 45
almost
seconds
a minute, right.
to the last one. So this is Agnes that you are able to see in action. And I think we will continue watching her dominance in the front and what she's doing.
And you know, we can now speak on this leaderboard, as now by the third lap, we can tell how this race is going. In second position is Mercy Chepkemoi. Mercy Chepkemoi actually took the under-20 women's title back in 2024. And so she's probably looking to make a name for herself and put her foot down, asking to be included among the senior women as a very, very strong contender and a strong athlete in her own right. Catherine Relin Amanangole, who is switching allegiance to Turkey as we speak, is now in third position. And Joy Cheptoyek, world silver medalist in the cross country in Tallahassee, Florida back in January, is now in fourth position. Looking like she's taking it easy, just making sure that her race is consistent, because she's really within she's within distance enough to catch the second and third position. So I think she's just decided to tuck in and then now maybe surge towards the end.
Yeah, because that means Mercy Chepkemoi, Catherine, Joy, Desila, and Faith will have to really sprint, and it will depend on who has the best kicking. Because sometimes, Manya, when you find these athletes, you are no longer able to look for the first position, but at least find yourself in the second position. The best thing to be able to do is at least to sit back and wait.
And when you see Agnes Getich hurdling those potted reeds with a bottle of water in her hand, you know that it is hot. The conditions are at 26 degrees Celsius. But I'd like to talk to you, Bungei, as a former athlete yourself, about the psychology of being an athlete with no one to chase you, to give chase to, no one to really push you to your limits. Agnes has been leading from the beginning and she's looking very dominant, and that's how it'll go for the rest of it. But how do you think that now she continues to push herself to do better, to better her times in such an event?
Well, I think, Manya, that's a very good question, and especially I know for a viewer out there, they want to understand exactly what is happening here. I think what Agnes Jebet is doing is that she's destroying her opponents such that even in the next time when they meet, they will always assume that, she's very strong. She lapped me last time. She gave me almost 1 minute. So it's a kind of like dominance that you are supposed to see in the I would say the top athletes. If you see the like of Wanyonyi, for example, in 800, the likes of Hussein when he was running, the likes of Faith, our own Faith, the way she dominates the race. Normally, Faith Kipyegon, once she goes in front, no one wants to chase them. And I think sometimes it is very important for these athletes so that they can make statement. Even when they go to any other competition, most likely they will win that race. Not actually that they were ready on that day, but because of the psychological destruction they have given to their opponents. Because when somebody beats you by a minute, even when you are competing, even at your best in next time, you will always not be able to know. And I think it is very good for Agnes to be able to show that dominance. It will be very good to show also maybe when she runs the track, and she can be able to do very well and have that dominance, because that one is a mind of what we call a champion, a mind of a strong athlete with strong mental preparation, and that's Agnes.
That's right. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich enjoying running in Eldoret, the city of champions. She says that this is where her career began. And so I think as she winds her way around the course, running for her people is really such a treat. And the kind of reception that she's getting, the kind of her fans, the spectators on the course cheering her on. And I think that's the only competition that she has, to compete against herself as people cheer her on to even do better.
Absolutely, and as you can see, still so many fans also, interestingly, Manya, you can see guys running, even despite the fact that, because most of the time we will experience that when there are two athletes competing against each other, you would see people running, each one of them to share to cheer their supporter and try to push them to say, hey, go, go, go. But in this case, even people are running from one corner to the other just to see Agnes, what she's able to do. And as you can see, coming again to lap another athlete there, as I believe this will be the last lap that she will be coming in to go.
That's right. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich has run her fourth lap in 6 minutes, 31 seconds. So she's getting a little slower. And I think that should be because of the humidity and the very hot conditions. 26 degrees Celsius is something that she's acclimatized to. I mean, this is home. This is where she trains. This is where she runs. But it must be getting very, very hot nonetheless. And she's being followed by Mercy Chepkemoi and Catherine Relin Amanangole, who will soon be representing Turkey. Joy Cheptoyek has been left behind by about 14 seconds by Catherine and is now sitting in fourth position. The world silver medalist is now in fourth position with her. And so I was just simply analyzing the split times that Agnes Jebet has run. So she got faster on the second lap, ran a negative split, but now is getting consistently slower, but not by much. We're talking like 4 seconds, really.
Yeah, that is basically what happened when you run against yourself, when you go far much and you have given a distance to your competitors, especially when you look back, maybe you try and look back, especially in a straight place, and she can be able to see that there is no one that is really following her. There is something in your mind that always says, okay, even if you slow, they are a little bit on a bigger distance, so why push? But sometimes, again, you have got to be able to, of course, it will be difficult for Agnes to understand if the others also are closing up, because you would realize that as we move ahead, the others will be trying to make the time difference a little bit shorter as they go ahead. But of course, Agnes has given a distance that it will be difficult for the others to catch up at this point, especially in the race, because as you can see, she will almost be coming to the finish line, and therefore she was most likely to be the winner of today.
That is right. There was no question that Agnes Jebet-Ngetich was going to give us a special show today. There was absolutely no question whatsoever. And I think one of the interesting stories to be told about this edition is Mercy Chepkemoi. Mercy Chepkemoi was a 2024 junior champion of the Sirikwa Classic. And today she is trailing behind Agnes Jebet in second position after the second lap, after the fourth lap. It is still too close to tell between Mercy and Catherine. Catherine Relin Amanangole, who will now be running for Turkey, and Joy Cheptoyek as well. But Agnes Jebet-Ngetich, without question, decided to do what she does, which is put on a dominant performance and remind us that she's still, at 25 years of age, she is one of the best in the world, one of the best for us to ever witness.
Yeah, and I think, again, Manya, talking about Mercy, when you mention, especially this is something that everybody out there should be able to understand, that when you mentor an athlete, from a younger age, you can be able to see the progress. Because Mercy, we can talk about her, what she was able to do in 2024, and currently now she's running as a senior, and she's in a good position sitting here on a second place, having run as a junior, having won as a junior, now being able to compete with people like Agnes, it tells you that, there is a progression that I think even the organizers themselves, I know Barnabas Korir and Athletics Kenya, General Dway, is happy to be able to see these athletes who were running the other day as juniors and right now dominating as seniors. It means at least we are somewhere.
And Mercy's transition into the senior women's category has not been easy because last year at the national championships, she was 30th position. But that could happen when you're a junior athlete and now you are bundled up with some of the best in the world. As we can see, Agnes Jebet-Ngetich now making her way to the finish line. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich, without question, has had one of the most dominant performances like we are used to seeing. In fact, we are spoiled, I would say, by Agnes Jebet because of the kind of performance that she puts on, lapping athletes like it's nothing. Still very much looking relaxed, running to the finish, not even making a run for it as such, but very characteristic with her forward-leaning style and front running. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich makes her way to the tape to defend her title as the Sirikwa Classic cross-country champion in the senior women's 10-kilometer race. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich does it 2 years in a row. But not just that, we have the privilege of witnessing the world champion in the cross-country, dominant, very dominant since January in red-hot form. Agnes Jebet receiving flowers because today's Valentine's. She actually spoke about it, talked about how interesting it would be to run on Valentine's Day. So you're receiving flowers and you're receiving chairs, and of course you're receiving $6,000. That's 774,000 or thereabouts Kenya shillings. Agnes Jebet-Ngetich is walking away with. What pride to witness an amazing woman be so dominant at the Sirikwa Classic cross country. In second position, Mercy Chepkemoi, finally finding her footing in the senior category in the 10-kilometer race. Mercy Chepkemoi, who won in 2024, was the under-20 champion back in 2024, taking her last turn and confidently making her way to the finish line to become the silver medalist, to come in second position in this year's edition of the Sirikwa cross-country race.
Yeah, there, Mercy finishing second in a time of 33:45 seconds, and followed by Catherine
Reline Amangole. Catherine Reline Amangole was actually the winner at the Discovery Cross Country that happened about 2 weeks ago. And so she's in very, very good form, and she's excited, I suppose, to make a transition to Turkey and is testing herself because the bonuses come with a lot of money, like when you represent a country like Turkey. So, she lets go of the national pride of running for her country to now represent Turkey very soon.
Yeah, and there, Joy from Uganda finishing fourth, Faith Cherono, fifth, and Daisila Cherono as well on the sixth position there, of course. And of course, Pena Yokosia coming there to finish in seventh position. Yvonne finishing the top 10 there. And I think, as you can see, Manya, this course hasn't been easy, as you say, in terms of the temperature. And I think, again, we never saw in the 2 kilometers and some other races there that there was no time for those athletes to be able to go and pick water. But in this case, almost every athlete. And I think we'll be going to our own Keter.
From the very first kilometers, why are you so confident with this tactic?
I think everyone has all tactics, One have the kick tactic, one has a front run tactic. But I could say I'm a front runner. And if I push from start, I'll go just like that. And, the way climate was, it was tough. But I had to push and then relax. Yeah.
Finally, this year, Agnes, you managed to get that world title that you have been looking for. You're world cross-country champion now. What else are you looking forward in this year?
And I'm looking for a best season, to run strong this season. And nothing else, to stay focused and to stay healthy.
Thank you, Agnes, and all the best.
And those are images, pictures of Agnes Jebet-Ngetich making her way past, nearing to the last turn and coming in for victory yet again. Back to Eldoret.
Kwa akili yako ulikuwa unaona umfuate ama uliamua kwenda na pesi yako?
Fenye niliona Agnes ameenda, nikasema ili nifuate base yangu, juu sijafikia base yake sana. But naenda kutrain ili next time niweze kumkaribia.
Hii season target yako kubwa ni gani?
Hii season nang'ang'ana ili niwe among the best ladies in Kenya, kama kina Beatrice Chebet, kama Faith Kipyegon. Hawa ndio nawafuata nyayo zake na ningependa wanipe encouragement sana.
Tumeona umekuwa junior juzi, sasa unaona umeanza kukimbia na senior. Pengine inakupea confident aje kuweza kukimbia na seniors?
Nimegraduate kwenda senior juzi. So ya kwanza nilisoma fenye seniors wanaenda. Ya pili nikaanza kuimprove na leo niko among the best. So nashukuru Mungu, asante.
We have number 3, Relin. Catherine. Relin, tafadhali songea hapa. How was your competition today for you, ilikuwaje?
Competition ya leo haikuwa mbaya sana vile, but kwa weta ni choto sana, si mbaya.
Tunaona unataka hii mwaka, I saw your name somewhere, you have been listed in a full marathon now. Transition direct ama bado utakuwa unakimbia half?
So bado nakimbia half marathon, nachanganya yote.
And how important is the cross country in terms of pengine prepare for the season?
So si mbaya, naona mwili si mbaya, na build pole. Yeah.
So race gani ndio una target size yenye iko karibu?
So na prepare London marathon.
Mbona kuna very big names London na kina Paris. Pengine how prepared are you for it?
So si mbaya, na prepare mzuri.
Sasa, all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steve Keter there, getting interviews from the winners of today. First-hand information from them.
Joy Cheptoyek actually came in 4th. The world silver medalist just didn't have it in her to make the podium at this edition of the Sirikwa Classic. There goes the confirmation of the results. For the elite women 10 kilometer, Agnes Jebet-Ngetich, world champion, and retains her Sirikwa Classic championship.
On the second place, Kimoy Masi. Third place, Catherine. 4th place, Cheptoyek from Uganda. 5th place, Cherono Faith. And on the 6th place is Cynthia Chemngeno, Bena Yekosoi, Desila Cherono, Maureen Chepkoech, and Yvonne Chepchirchir, finishing on the top 10. There, as you can see, how the race started. And of course, Agnes decided from the word go, as you can see, to take the lead. And that is what actually made Agnes to be able to dominate that race and even being able to lap everyone and gave 1 minute 14 seconds to the second place. It shows you that Agnes came here well prepared, and she knew exactly what she was going to do. She executed her race, I believe, the way she had planned, because she was not able to look back, but just always push. And she became the winner of the 2026 Sirikwa Classic World Cross Country Tour.
Cynthia Chepngeno came in 4th position, but dropped a few places to 6th position this year. She was 4th at the last edition and is now 6th at this 2026 edition. And those are just a few of the people that ran both editions. And what a treat! What a treat for us to watch the best of the best do it.
Yeah, and I think, so many countries were represented here. As I could see, Ukraine, we had, I saw Turkey is represented. Of course, a number of Ugandans are here. Always Ugandans have supported this race. Not really supported, but I would say that, they have always been coming here to compete. We have currently, Manya, I believe we have more Ugandans than Ethiopians that are competing in the Kenyan circuits. And of course, today, Ugandans have been represented in a very big way here today. And of course, Joy Cheptoek was able to finish in the 4th place for Uganda in the senior women's category. And there you can see the way Agnes was always making a move, not looking back, but pushing and pushing. The only exception time was maybe on the last lap that she was able to slow a little bit, but in between, she was always doing negative splits.
Her slowest lap was actually the 4th, and by the time it was the 5th lap, she ran her 2nd fastest split. So I think it was once she got that hydration in, she decided to keep pushing, which is really what Agnes Jobet-Ngetich is known for and what she's about.
Yeah, or someone else, Manya, would be able to say that probably maybe she was doing fartlek, as you had one of the youngest athletes there. She said that I was doing fartlek, because when you do fartlek, maybe at the lap that you are doing a little bit faster, that is when you get time. But of course, that is the tactics of every athlete when they prepare for a race. And for those strong athletes like Agnes, of course, she was able to show us what she was capable of doing. As you can see, the 2nd and 3rd position, that is Mercy Chepkemoi and Catherine Manangole, of course, coming to finish in position 2nd and 3rd there. And of course, Joy Cheptoek there coming to finish in the 4th place.
That's right. Catherine Amangole actually got 2nd place back in 2024. And I think this should have been bumped up to 1st because, she actually got 3rd place initially, but then we had the winner of the race being disqualified because of doping violations, and so Joycelyn Jepkesgoe moved up, and so did Catherine to 2nd position, and Cynthia Chepngeno, who has also turned up and was 6th position today, was actually 3rd placed back in 2024.
Yeah, that is Agnes there in action, coming to finish. And as you can see on your screen, we have the final event of the day, which is 10 kilometers men. And I think, as you can see, these athletes running there to the start of the line, you hardly even see that whether it is 2 lines, 3 lines, or what. But I can tell you that we have 365 athletes who have been invited, who have registered for the 10-kilometer Sirikwa Classic. 365. And I can tell you, Manya, that I think, as I said earlier, since we have covered this competition for a very long time, I don't think that we have had a huge number of professional athletes who are running compared to this year, because to have 365 here for the 10 kilometers is going to be tough. And there in chassis number 11 is Daniel Epeño, who is the winner last year. And I think, talking about Epeño, Manya, speaking to our own Nation newspaper, is said, and I quote him, that the race will be very interesting. When I heard that Korir had announced that he will be competing, I knew it shall be tough.
That's right, and we're just about to get underway. 3:10 was the time that this race was meant to start, and we are at 10 minutes past 3. Looks like the numbers are massive. And so they might have to do a little rearranging and just ensuring that everyone is positioned behind the start line. There goes bib 1127, and that should be John Courier, Boston-Chicago Marathon champion. Trying to show us for the first time ever what he's capable of in cross country. And what a treat for the home fans, for the home crowd, to get to see John Courier participate in this cross country with their own eyes and not just on a television screen. He did not manage to finish the Chicago Marathon this year, and he was looking for a defense, and that was an incredible disappointment. But he more than made up for that in Valencia back in December when he ran the Valencia road race and came out top.
Yeah, it will be interesting, of course. Remember that Ebenyo does not only have the experience of cross-country, half marathons and marathon, but he has become one of the most consistent. And I believe for John Courier, deciding to run this cross-country probably is to catch his speed, because as a marathoner, it is sometimes also very important for you to try every other way that you can be able to compete and at least catch your speed. And I think in this case, already we have 2 athletes, but remember that, we have also other top athletes who will be competing here. We may labor Manya and talk about 2 athletes, but finally, there they go.
And they're underway. The point of today's race for Daniel Simiyu Ebenyo is to become the first athlete ever to defend his title 3 times. It will be a historic win to win back in 2024, 2025, and 2026 as well. But that's not if John Courier has something to say about it, as well as the other numerous elite athletes that we have in this field. Robert Kiprop finished 7th back in 2024, and he's participating here as well today, as well as George Manangoi, Emmanuel Kipsang, Brian Kipsang, and Enos Chebet. Just some of the names to look out for. Ebenyo faces very, very strong competition, and it's been touted to be a race between John Courier and Daniel Simiyu Ebenyo. And the 2 athletes have clashed twice before at marathon level. Back at the Chicago Marathon, Courier won in 2024. Ebenyo was 5th place. A disappointing 5th, I believe, because he had wanted more for his marathon career, but he's likely just finding his footing. And then back in 2024, last year, Ebenyo finished 13th, while Courier DNF'd. Courier failed to finish. So we are going to see if Ebenyo, the national champion actually in the cross country, is going to be able to retain his title. And it will be quite the test to see whether John Courier can actually run as well, world class, on the road as well as the field in cross country. So Daniel Simiyu Ebenyo is a 2-time defending Sirikwa Classic champion back in 2024 and 2025. They're still a packed bunch. The lead pack is still very much a packed bunch, but it's going to take something special to win some of the best athletes that we have in the world. Ebenyo was actually the bronze medalist in the World Cross Country back in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, and there Ebenyo already making a decision, to be in front, to try to push the pace. Let's see if we are going to see the same thing that Agnes did by breaking away, because already it seems Daniel Ebenyo Simiyu, who has won every other race in Kenya here, from the marathons, the half marathons, and I think, Imanya, you and I, we have covered Ebenyo in every other race that we see here he runs. He looks like also he has a bigger advantage when it comes to running in Kenya, because I think, as far as I know, almost every race, including last year when he was running, I think Stanchart Marathon, that we are also covering, he won the race. And I think he loves running here in Kenya, and he loves winning here in Kenya. So let's wait and see if he is going to dominate the same way Agnes did. But of course, as you can see, already the leading pack is quite interesting, and we will be able to tell you exactly what is happening, Manya.
John Korir is actually leading, looking very confident, not intimidated at all by the fact that this is his first cross-country race ever. Very dominant in the marathon, and this is how he runs. When he's feeling good, when he's confident about his training, he runs from the front. And it looks like Ebenyo is going to have to keep up with him just to ensure that he's able to kick when it matters.
Yeah, and for those of you, who may not, who may not understand who John Korir is the brother of Wesley Korir, who was also a marathoner, and he was a former MP for Cherangani. So this is his younger brother that is a marathoner. But as you have said, interestingly, Manya, we have witnessed some of the marathoners, sometimes they make a choice to come to the marathon, to the cross country. And sometimes actually they disappoint the cross country runners themselves, which become very interesting because there is always a belief that if you have run on the tarmac, it becomes difficult for you to come and run maybe in a track like this, or it becomes difficult for an athlete to run in the track. But for someone like Korir or Ebenyo, for example, he has done everything. He can still run 10,000 meters on the track and still do well. Because I remember some time back, Ebenyo had said that he was going to move to the marathon, but later on change his mind and still run the track and running cross country.
Very interesting how things are panning out, because to me it looked like John Korir signaled that he wants someone else to come and take the lead, and Ebenyo then now made his way to the front. Afterwards, Ebenyo then signaled that he wanted someone else to come and take the lead. And it looks like they are going at a very pedestrian, I don't know if it's safe to say pedestrian, Bungei. It's a pedestrian pace, but they're slow. They're not as fast as you would expect from the likes of Agnes Jabet, Ngetich, who go out hard from the very beginning. Looking like they're sizing their competition, even as they go up the first man-made mound.
Yeah, and there you have Korir now in the lead, deciding to really push. I think, again, it isn't going to be slow, Manya. I think it's going to be completely opposite, because remember that you have got two marathoners, guys who have competed together. You have one that has dominated cross-country road races in Kenya, and you have this guy who has not really competed here, because John Korir hasn't done a lot of competitions here. It is almost the first time that he's doing this here in Kenya, and I believe everyone has come to see this, and it looks like right now already, and you see Korir is running and watching back. I think these guys, I don't know, it's going to be one of the best races. I think we have talked about the best race of the day, but I think this could be one of the most interesting ones,
It's
Manya.
definitely there in the running. John Korir, I think, has a lot to prove to himself, because he wasn't really pleased with how things went at the Chicago Marathon. And now as he's preparing for his Boston defense, I believe he wants to just ensure that he's in red hot form, and there's no question about it. But then, of course, this man-made hills that Ibrahim Hussein, that the technical director of the Sirikwa Classic, placed on the course, as well as the potted reeds that one would have to hurdle, is a new dynamic for John Korir. He's used to running flat, straight on the road.
Yeah, that is why I say this is completely a new territory for him. Especially that, you always compete. Remember also that when he will be competing here, definitely he will have to wear spikes. And I believe for a very long time, he's training most of the time. Because if you look like at the marathoners, Manya, they always run with racing shoes. And in this case, for the cross country, he has to wear spikes. But of course, as an athlete who has to be ready for this, it is going to be a little bit tough for him, but also a very good experience. And I think the way this race was hyped, Manya, was between Korir and Ebenyo. Of course, they are still there, but I think the experience and the feeling we have already started having by the fact that, this guy who runs 42 kilometers, he can still be in the front of everyone who runs a shorter distance. Tells you also his preparation is not really something small, because for him to be able to stick even to the front side there, because I believe most of these guys, they have done cross country, we will be able to bring to who are currently in front. And what
And
exactly
let me
is-
talk about the water shower, the sprinkler system. It looks to me like the drainage of this pool of water has gotten better every year. Because at this point of the race, being the last elite event or the last event of the day, it's now starting to pull up. There's a bit of a pool of water. And it used to be an even bigger pool. So, yes, you get the cooling effect, but then you get your shoes wet.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that becomes one of the challenges that you always face in cross country, because you're right. You know, the more you run, the guys also will come. They drop some mud there. It will be a little bit challenging, and it becomes experience. But look at the way these guys are turning. You know, in every corner, that is where those guys who are a little bit shorter, as you can see, you know, they try to make a turn immediately and try to run. And as you can see, you know, everyone is still trying to follow. But with the leading group, of course, it's a different ball game altogether. We should be able to, but already in second place is Epeño, Korir in third place, and
that's right. So Simiu Ebenyo, by the first lap, was leading, followed by John Korir, and then Shadrach Rono Kipkemei, Robert Kiptanui, Cornelius Kemboi, Dennis Kipkemoi, and Robert Kiprop Koech, as well as Cornelius Connor Kipkosgei, Edwin Kiplangat Bet, and Kelvin Rotich Kiplagat, still very much together by the time they were getting to the first lap, the point of the first lap finish. And so it's still very compact at this time. But I think as we go to the second, third lap, then now we'll start to see formation that represents how the results will pan out.
Yeah, and something very interesting. Right now, we are beginning to see the fans who have gone there starting to move from one corner to another, because something interesting just to mention is that when it comes to cross country, you have the beauty of being able to run from one corner to the other to watch these athletes, because otherwise if you stay in one place, you will have to wait for that person to finish the lap before they come there, and many changes would have already happened by the time that maybe you wait. And that's why you are able to see people trying to run. Then there again, Korir is ahead of Epeño currently, not really letting go.
Korir looking like he has to put in quite a bit of effort. He's the shorter of the two to hurdle those potted reeds. But with time, we'll be able to tell who actually our leader is at this time. And it looks like he's just made a decision to make a run for it, because, you know, it gets tougher. You need to sort of try and run them out.
Yeah, and I think something that will be very interesting maybe to observe later on, especially we will be able to know who is the athlete who is leading right now. Sometimes, Manya, what happens is if you have got two big athletes that they are fighting among themselves, the best thing that you can be able to do as they focus on themselves, the best thing to do is to try and push. As you can see there, that is what we call sportsmanship, being able to give water to your opponent. It doesn't matter that if you give, remember, Manya, that if you give your opponent water, in this case, you are helping them. If you are not able to give them, you know, they will easily have a little bit of a difficulty, because everybody needs to hydrate. But this is sportsmanship, and I think it is something that we have experienced in so many Kenyan athletes. It doesn't matter what is happening, they will always do that, and I think that was a good thing, at least to be able to mention.
And that's right. And Shadrach Rono Kipkemei was actually our leader for most of the second lap, but it looks like now they're trading places yet again, with Ebenyo and Korir coming into the lead and just really gunning for the first place. It's going to be a very, very competitive, just like you mentioned, it's going to be a very competitive race, probably one of the more exciting ones of the year. And how you go up the man-made hills also could give you a few meters on your opponents if you're good with the uphill and the downhill.
Yeah, and that is why when you look at all these athletes, whenever they are training, they would have a day that they do downhill, there are days that they train in uphill, because that way, if you have been doing it, at least it gives you an advantage. But of course, it's different now because it's competition. Everybody is there. It's different when you go to train in the hill alone. But this is a situation whereby you are following someone. But something interesting. The changes that we have had here, Manya, already we have, it's even difficult for us to be able to mention who is in front because we keep on changing. We have this name, we made that, and then the next thing you have another changes. As you can see, Korir again, he's coming to be in the front, at least to have a feel, because the feeling that I have in his mind is this being the first, or even if he has done cross country, but probably maybe not in this level, and especially not in Kenya, where everybody is very good in cross country. This country is known to do very well in the cross country. For Korir to make a choice, in a not a comfort zone, and still being able to hold there, actually makes the competition even more interesting. And I think it will be able to challenge, Korir will be able to challenge some of the other marathoners, for example, who have chosen that I cannot do cross country, that maybe it can easily inspire them to say tomorrow, maybe also try to run cross country.
Yes, and for your build-up, if you're trying to build up to one of the world marathon majors, having a dominant performance in an event like the Sirikwa Classic with kind of depth of field that we have here could really give you some amount of confidence that you have the endurance and you have the speed, and you're going to be good with the rolling terrains as it may be, as well as the up and down of any marathon on the road.
Yeah, look at this crowd, how beautiful it looks like. Everybody has come there to wait and watch. And I think, as we all said, the interesting part is that everyone wants to know what is going to happen. And I think it will be very important, Manya, for us to be able to mention who are the leaders.
The name Sirikwa makes reference to a legendary ancient community that inhabited the Uasin Gishu Plateau back in the day. And when we get shots of the singers and the dancers dressed in traditional regalia, do they look like the Sirikwa people? Are those the Nandi people? How does that look? Maybe you'd be in a position to inform me.
Well, I actually, what I think I am able to see is that those are regalias that are used. Remember that, among the Kalenjin tribes, there is different regalias for every sub-tribes, about 9 sub-tribes that we have. So sometimes it becomes difficult to tell exactly whose regalia belongs to, because if it happens that it was the Nandi community that were there in the Sirikwa, then probably those could be them. But of course, also the organizers have always invited different groups to be able to create this occasion from different parts of the North Rift, different parts of the Kalenjin community, and even Turkana. They have been able to create the occasion during that period. So sometimes it becomes difficult, but it tells you that what we are supposed to blend in terms of athletics and our cultures as well, it will be good to showcase our cultures in such kind of an event that is well attended. As we can see, so many foreigners are here. So many people have traveled even from Nairobi here to go and watch. And I think everyone will be talking about this race, what we are able to see, what we are experiencing.
John Korir is a strong athlete of note, because he was so disappointed with the fact that he was not able to finish the Chicago Marathon that he determined to do Valencia and win. All right. So I feel like he's the kind of athlete that has so much resolve, and it'll be interesting to see how he gives Abenyo a run for his money. Literally, the money on the line is $6,000. That's 775,000 or thereabout, 1,000 Kenya shillings, which is not a bad amount. It's a pretty penny for a day's work.
Absolutely. The only one thing that maybe I would say, Manya, sometimes is that when you have top athletes and you are inside there, the same way that I see these other guys now who are in front, they will be like, you know what? Everybody will be focusing on John Korir and Daniel Simio Peño, and I will be able to do my own things. But of course, those two guys, they are still there. I mean, they aren't letting anyone go. If you can see, as much as we still have almost like 7-8 athletes, all in front, all in contention. And as I said, earlier on, Manya, that we are not going to see Agnes Jebet's race here. Okay? By this period, Agnes had already left everybody. But in this case, when you can look at these guys, no one is letting anyone go. Not even Peño, not Korir.
That's right. And the lead pack is 7 athletes strong. We have John Korir, Robert Kiptanui, Daniel Ebenyo, Edwin Bett, Robert Kiprop-Koech, Amos Kiprotich, and Kelvin Rotich Kiplagat. And so far, no one's letting go. No one's letting go of the lead pack.
That is where I think, Barnabas Korir will be really very happy to see this kind of competition, rather than maybe you invited one athlete who comes and dominates the race and the rest becomes escort, if I may use that word, though I'm not supposed to. But I think what I could say is that in this case, we have had invitations of top athletes who are really very good, because it will be difficult at this stage, Manya, for those 7 athletes to let anyone go. Anyone who is going to make a move right now, he will be chased to the line. And I think this will come to that, but let's wait and see.
And something must be said about the athletes that represent Kenya and their love for cross country. It's not common that you will find that the World Championships is done, the World Cross Country Championships is done, and still people want to run and give it their best shot on the last leg of the cross country Gold Tour. With the changes in the World Athletics time calendar, we had the championships being brought forward. So no, we don't have a clash with the indoor meets and the like.
Yeah, and Manya, I think what we would ask director behind there is, at certain point we give some space for our audience out there to be able to feel the race as it goes right now. When we keep quiet, please, we are not going anywhere. We want you to be able to observe this race and feel the same way we feel here.
Wakati ndio hizo zinaendelea, na wakumbusha tu weekend ijayo Paul Tiren na Mwakio
was to go behind, maybe see who everybody is, who are in these guys in front. He could easily want to feel what would these guys most likely do, because this is coming to a sprint. That is what I can say. And of course, Korir is a very good sprinter. Ebenyo is a pace setter. He would like always his race to be fast. But something that I have not understood, maybe in this case, Manya, is that he hasn't decided to straight the way he normally does. Probably he could have been intimidated by the fact that Korir is there, and everybody was talking about them. So it can easily intimidate an athlete like Ebenyo, who decides today maybe to sit back, because I am yet to see Ebenyo coming in front and take a lead the same way Korir has done.
And but this is how Ebenyo has been running, even at the national championships. He waits for like the last 2 laps to make his kick, to make that surge. And I think Ebenyo was asked about Korir and what he anticipated for the race, and he said that he's not scared of anyone. And, I think he wants to just solidify that this is his territory. But what will happen for certain is that they will have to fight for this victory.
Yeah, and as it looks right now, we have those 3 athletes that will be battling out, maybe for the podium. But of course, it is too early. That is Edwin Kiplagat-Bet. I think it's the one that has come in front right now. But again, Korir is in the lead. followed by Ebenyo closely and monitoring his every step. And of course, if anyone has ever watched these two guys compete together out there, at least they have experience today, and especially for everyone who is at Lobo Village, I believe, Manya, they will have something to talk about.
And now that we are done, this is actually the final lap. And the way Obenyo is looking back, we've seen him look back like that at other senior championships, meaning he even in Tallahassee, he looked back just to ensure that he had secured the third position. And it looks like, he's not feeling as strong, maybe not feeling as determined to keep up with John Korir.
Yeah, as you can see already, right now, Obenyo is sitting on the third place. And Korir seems to be really running away with this, as he looks like to be increasing in every bit of the race. However, he still looks back, which is actually normal for most athletes. As you can see there, John Korir. Remember, this is Chicago, Boston, not Chicago actually, Boston champion.
Yes. And he wants to defend his title in April. It doesn't want it to be a disappointment or a less than lackluster performance as it was in Chicago last year when he didn't even manage to finish and therefore defend his title. But John Korir, when you're speaking about a marathon runner like John Korir and the kind of pedigree that he is, he has the endurance. When he runs a marathon like Boston, where there's up and downhill, it seems to me that the surface, the field, the grass, the African savanna is not too much of a challenge.
Yeah, and what is interesting, Manya, and I think even our viewer out there must be, I don't know whether they are excited like I am right now already, I'm feeling it. When I see everyone is running around in this, trying to follow, and I think it excites Manya. I think every fan of athletics, every sports journalist here, they will be able to analyze this and will be able to bring us and tell us exactly how comes a marathoner is able to put all the cross-country runners and still being able to run like this. And we want to just let you be able to watch this for some minutes. But Manya, can you say something?
So John Korir is not just a marathoner. He actually has the 8th fastest marathon time ever of all time. So he's not just looking to try out a cross-country race. He has the endurance, he has the stamina, he has the pace and the tactics. He knew when to break away from the rest of the team, to give it a kick, to give it a surge. And John Korir looking very comfortable, because 10 kilometers is really just but a quarter, a fraction of the full marathon distance. And it looks like today is John Korir's day.
Absolutely. And look at the crowd. Look at the people who are just running. They have already forgotten about who is on the second place. It looks like it's difficult even to tell sometimes, Manya, whether these guys are inside the track or they are just running outside the track. But you can see how people are excited, and even with the flags.
John Korir has a lot to prove to more than anyone, to himself, because he is seeking to defend his Boston title. And the way he's looking this dominant in a field of the best of the senior men in Kenya, and one might argue the world, it looks like there's something that he will do very special come the 26th of April.
Thank you for saying something special, because the feeling I had right now, yes, I think he's going for something special. And you know what that special thing is when it comes to Boston, because I can confidently say that, the level of Korir running right now is something that we used to experience at the time of Paul Tergat, if I may say so, because he used to dominate the cross country just like that alone. And you can see, it has made everybody run. Even guys who just went there to watch, currently right now, they are running along the course with Korir.
What a beautiful image of the Kenyan flag being flown across the field there at the Lobo village. And with Eliud Kipchoge somewhat retiring, okay, and choosing to be more of an inspirational figure, one might wonder who will take over, who else can take over and carry the Kenyan flag. But it looks like this man, John Korir, is possibly a candidate for the job.
I think it is the best analysis you have put today, Manya, that at least we were looking as a country, and I think everyone who is watching this today, we have been looking for a replacement of Eliud Kipchoge, and I think we are looking at one by the name of John Korir. If you look at this guy, he's a marathoner, but right now he's dominating cross-country run, which is 10 kilometers, running with spikes, running in this kind of difficult. Remember that John Korir always trains outside the country. He's based in US most of his time, but he chose to come and run here because he wants to make a statement.
And also, you must give it up for the exceptionally gifted Daniel Simiu Ebenyo. Ebenyo made the cross to the marathon and still was running track in Mumias just a week ago, and still dominant, very, very dominant in cross country, the national champion and the bronze medalist at the world stage. So we have some really special talent here represented, the best of the best right here at Sirikwa. And it looks like John Korir is making his way for the finish, and he'll be followed by Amos Kiprotich. And I don't have any eyes on Ebenyo at this time. Oh, but maybe there he is. I see him taking the corner. So John Korir, the man with the 8th fastest marathon in history, has determined that today we will have a new champion in the Sirikwa Classic cross country. Still looking very, very comfortable, not out of breath in the least. That is a kind of training that a marathon runner would bring to the cross country fields, the African savannah in Uasin Gishu County. John Korir, marathoner, but today cross-country champion at the Sirikwa Classic.
Wow. I think this is, Manya, I'm just tearing up just watching this guy because for many times we normally have athletes, they move from shorter distance to longer distance, and what Korir has done is to move from the longer distance to shorter distance and still being able to dominate. This is amazing. This is what we call Sirikwa, and it has really been growing and growing. And I don't think that there is any other excitement that we have other than this, getting Korir. Because look, I mean, we were all hyped up between Ebenyo and Korir. Of course, give it to Ebenyo. He has finished 4th place, at least better.
5th place, actually.
Fifth place.
Yeah.
But Korir, I think there is a lot to be able to talk about, and especially for anyone who loves sport, who loves athletics, this will be a different analysis that we will definitely be talking about for a very long time.
And I feel like John Kipchoge Korir came into this race very confident because he has beaten Ebenyo before, and very categorically. When he won the Chicago Marathon, Ebenyo was 5th, and maybe psychologically he was just a stronger man and decided to just pace himself. 10 kilometers is not a crazy distance. At least it's a quarter of what he often does, and nowhere even close to a fraction of the mileage that he clocks every single week.
Yeah, but you see, I think what for me the experience was different because all of us knew Ebenyo has done a lot of cross countries. He has dominated cross country. He was the winner of this. We have never seen Korir, despite the fact that he has always, beaten Ebenyo, for example, but he beats Ebenyo in his distance. But this time round, he has come here and beat Daniel in what I would easily call Ebenyo's race. Because remember, Ebenyo has been dominating the cross-country in this country for a long time. Korir hasn't really done it a lot, but he has come to beat Ebenyo in his own race. And that's why I said the one thing that you have already mentioned is there could be something special coming.
And then, I think this is a discussion that must be had. Because when we talk about the World Championships that happened earlier in January this year, Kenya only made it to 3rd place.
I think we will be able to break immediately once we go there, but we'll continue talking. But once we see him with our team there, then automatically we will be able to listen to him. And there he is. Yeah, we will be able to get back immediately as soon as he comes back. But I think this is one of the races, and there he is.
It was amazing. We have never seen you in a cross-country course. What made you to come and run this cross-country today?
I was training and I said let me go on Sirikwa and see how my shape is. And now I've come to realize that I'm still in a good shape and I'm getting ready for Boston. So yeah, I only come here for my like them go and do my speed work, and it has gone on well.
Cross-country is a bit challenging than the road. There's a lot of curves, corners. How did you manage?
For me, corners was very tough for me. But I managed for the first lap. It was very tough. For second lap, third lap, when it was full lap, I had to get used to it. So I said, let me try and stay with the people. And then the last lap, now I started pushing, and I saw no people are coming. I said, let me push to the finish.
Last year was you had mixed results. First, you defended your Boston title. A bit you missed Chicago, but you appealed in Valencia. You won. This year, we have seen you are going back to Boston. Maybe what are you looking forward for this year?
For this year, I'm looking forward to win 2 majors and try to see how it went. I'm going back to Boston to defend my title and see if I'll defend my title. So if I'll defend my title, I'll be very happy and I'll be a very happy person.
Thank you so much, John. All the best.
John Corrier only began his running career back in 2018. He's still a very young man, 29 years of age. And we've had that discussion about how Kenya is bleeding our track athletes onto the road. And sometimes, there's been debates about why don't we send the best of our best to the track to represent us at the Olympics and at the World Championships on the track.
Yeah, I think, we may think about like that. But I think, Manya, if I may say that it will change now the story, because everyone would be like, maybe John Corrier should have been in the world cross country, because if he is able to run like this today, then maybe we should have. But of course, we in Kenya, we are full of talents. As you said, okay, I think we have our...
How was the competition?
The competition was very tough. Only the determination which kept me running. Yeah.
Unlike women, men mulikaa pamoja sana for a very long time before mtu akaanza, ndio John akaanza kubreak. Wewe ulikuwa na tactic ya kubreak mapema ama uliamua tu ukae na crowd at first?
Mimi vile tulienda lap ya pili hivi, nikasema acha ni push nione vile itakuwa. Yeah.
So after this race now the cross country imeisha. Hii season vile tunaingia, target yako hasa ni gani?
Target yangu ilikuwa hii Sirikwa Classic. So after this we are going to prepare what next. Yeah.
Kwa track we unakimbia gani, 5, 10 ama una mix zote?
I always mix. Yeah.
Sasa, all the best.
5,000 and 10,000. Yeah.
Thank you, all the best.
Today has been electric. I think
And it's very good to hear from Amos Kiprotich. The 25-year-old was positioned 24th at the national championships that was held last year in October. So to see him make his way from 24th to 2nd must be very, very encouraging. We were talking about John Corrier yet again, and these are beautiful images of him finishing dominant, comfortable, not looking a single breath, like he's panting, not a single hair out of place.
Yeah, and I think, Manya, maybe where because I remember you mentioned that he went back just to watch everybody and understand where Ibenya is and maybe what everybody will be doing. And that's why he had a lot of confidence. You could see the way he was finishing, he knew that no one will catch me when it comes to...
So then let me ask you, Bungei, do you think we should have sent him for the cross-country championships? Jacob Kiplimo was extremely dominant, and so was Berihu Aregawi. So our own Daniel Simiyu Ebenyo came in 3rd place. But should we then now try to send some of the best talent to the World Championships?
5,000 and the steeplechase. You have seen today for yourself, the 10,000 meters, how competitive it was. It is there, and I'm sure that this Kenya has done a very good job in the story that we have come all over the country and to make sure that we program and concentrate with the coaches.
Pengine kutoka hapa nao tumefunga cross country season, tunaanza kuingia track na road.
kuna races gani ambao umetarget hapa mbele?
Sasa sija target any race. Maybe my coaches atajua venye atanifanyia. Yeah.
So ni kurudi build up, kuprepare kidogo.
Yeah, ni kurudi build up, kuprepare kidogo nione venye itakuwa. Yes.
Asante.
The best. That's not the last.
Yeah, maybe, Manya, just to go back to your earlier question that you had asked me, but
And there goes the confirmation of the results from the elite men 10 kilometers. John Korir, marathoner, turned into cross-country athlete for today. Amos Kiprotich, a 25-year-old who was 24th at the national championships back in 2025. And Silas Centura, the reigning 10,000 meters national champion, rounding up the podium in third place. We were having a discussion about sending the best. Sending the John Koreers to the World Cross Country Championships when the competition is the likes of a very dominant Jacob Kiplimo?
Well, yes, sorry for that, man. I think, that's a question that you had asked me earlier. And I think my observation is that when you look at John Korir now, of course, we cannot send him to represent us in marathon because in the cross country, because his bigger picture is to be able to do something special, in Boston, and also being a dominant athlete in the marathon, the way we would wish or we would pray that, among the many outside Korea and among the many, we get one that will replace our own Eliud Kipchoge, who has been dominant for the last 15 years in the marathon, or the last or more than 10 years actually. But it is good also when we have such kind of athletes because they come and inspire. I think the one thing that most people will be able to talk about here is that the caliber of athletes who are able to participate today. If you imagine for a very long time, any winner of international races, you would never see them running here in Kenya, for example. I mean, if you look at if you ask the owner of Lobo, that is Ibrahim Hussein Kipkemboi, if you ask him today that did he ever compete in Kenya, he will tell you that he never competed. Most of these athletes never competed in Kenya as they were marathoners. So I think the take home here, Manya, would be that most of the athletes, they have taken seriously this race, and for him to come here, it inspires. So of course, we wouldn't like him to really focus on cross country, because if we are talking about money and why athletes, because I think this is a discussion we are, maybe myself have been asked, why do athletes move from short distance or the 10,000, the 5,000 to marathon? Is because at least that is where they can make a living. It means they can make money out of it. But in terms of running other small races, you can't be able to make a living out of it. And that's why we would still wish those athletes who are very good in marathon to always continue. And I think for today, Manya, I will talk about it, and I think our viewer can be able to see what Korir was. At one point, the team make a decision, for example, to make a move. And you see, the moment he made a move, he never looked back. He never doubted his move. Because sometimes, Manya, let me just say this, that sometimes athletes, when they make a move like that, it is easy to get distracted and they can easily be passed. But for this guy, he knew exactly when he was making a move because he never wanted to look back.
That was very dominant. And yet again, that is Catherine Relin, Kenyan-born, now representing Turkey anytime now, and likely by the time the 2028 LA Olympics come around, with a check of 513,000 for third place in the senior women's 10-kilometer race. In second position, Mercy Chepkemoi. She was the under-20 champion back in 2024, and now the silver medalist at this 2026 edition of the Sirikwa Classic Cross Country. And she walks away with a pretty penny too, 642,000 Kenya shillings. And she says that she's inspired by Beatrice Chebet and Faith Kipyegon. And as they continue to dominate and perform so well, even though we know that Beatrice Chebet is on break this year and maybe the next, I'm not sure, because she's getting into maternity. And we really do wish her all the best on this motherhood journey. That's the kind of crop of athletes that inspires the next generation. And of course, most dominant performance of the day. Agnes Ngetich is yet again the Sirikwa Classic cross-country champion in their senior women's category, going home with about 772,000 Kenya shillings.
In Florida, USA, Agnes Chebet Ngetich with a smile over there.
Thank you so much.
We will kindly
take one
ask
photo with the athlete.
guests to stand for a photograph. Mheshimiwa Meli on the other. Thank you for a good photograph. This is for history.
Smile for the camera in 1, 2, 3. Click,
Let's
click.
give it a smile.
Thank you.
Let's give it a smile.
So
Very
our
good.
guests, the athletes, you remain there. Kindly. Our guests, thank you so much.
770,000 Kenya shillings for the winner, Agnes Chebet Ngetich.
It's now
And
the
Catherine
highest paying
Berlin.
cross country in
Yes,
the country.
770,000.
Yes.
Of course, they have to go through the normal anti-doping agency procedures before they can cash that money.
Thank you so much. And now we go to the men. 10 kilometers men. Nataka nimwalike Madam Mwihaki Washira, Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Absa Bank. Nataka pia nimwalike our chief guest of the day, Kipchumba Murkomen, CS Interior, and Madam Catherine Dereba. Tafadhali.
So once again, with humility, we ask CS Kipchumba Murkomen to come forward to present the last prizes very quickly, escorted by Catherine Dereva. Catherine Dereva.
As our athletes are coming in position 3, Silas Centura, Amos Kiprotich, and the winner for the day, John Kipkoske Korir. Karibu sana CS, you'll stand here. In position 3, Silas Centura.
Silas Centura.
And will be awarded by Catherine Dereba.
So Catherine Dereva is the previous winner of Boston Marathon, Chicago Marathon, and of course, she was the world record holder for the marathon, Catherine Dereva. There she is.
And a check.
And a check of Kenya shillings 513,000. 513,000.
Thank you so much. Now in position 2, Amos Kiprotich, wapi makofi. Atatunukiwa na Madam Mwihaki Washira kutoka benki ya Absa, Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Absa. That is a medal, the flowers, and a check.
642,000 Kenya shillings.
Wow.
642 Kenya shillings.
Thank you.
And the winner, John Korir. The winner, John Korir. There is the young
Tumshangilie wananchi tafadhali. The winner this year.
Wesley Korir. To be presented by Kipchumba Murkomen, CS, Interior and Coordination. $770,000 Kenya shillings. 770,000 Kenya shillings. And we will ask for a photograph with the champions. An amazing photograph. Catherine Dereva over there.
One photo, we smile all.
Trust me, you will remember these photos 10 years from now. 10 years from now.
All right, thank you so much. So our guests, you'll step back, but CS Autaenda Mbali. One photo, the winners. One photo. Media, are you ready? In 1, 2, 3. Click. Thank you. All right, asanteni. Nataka nimwalike CS atusalamie. Najua weather imeanza mambo, lakini karibu sana Kipchumba Murkomen. Yes.
To the organizers of this event, Athletics Kenya, the sponsors, and all the participants and the winners. I am here on behalf of the government of Kenya and my colleague, Honorable Salim Vuria, to tell you that congratulations for a job well done. Pongezi AK, and congratulations to all the athletes who ran. And for those who won, very proud of the good work you've done. We know that this event has been possible because of the various private sponsors, but also because of the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Sports. And I must commend Athletics Kenya, Barnaba, and the leadership of Athletics Kenya, because you continue to make us very proud. I was here for a very short time, but it was one of my most memorable time in public service, because I really enjoyed to understand what the sports fraternity is doing, what Athletics Kenya is doing, and what all our athletes are doing to make our country a proud place. Kwa hivyo, congratulations, run well, run clean, and I appreciate all the athletes who are running clean. That is the only way to continue making sports and athletics the most attractive thing in our country. To the organizers, this was amazing. Every other year, it's getting better and better. And I look forward to being with you again in next year's event. Congratulations and may God bless you. Asante sana.
Thank you, CS. Asante sana. Nataka nimwalike Mr. Mutui, Senior Vice President, Athletics Kenya, for a vote of thanks. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, our chief guest, for this event, and the distinguished guests who are in presence, and the athletes, the officials, and all stakeholders. Now, mine, on behalf of the President Athletics Kenya, General Tuwei, who is outside the country in Lagos, attending a seminar for African Sports Association. I do want to appreciate the work that has been done by the organizers of this event. I want to say, for those people who do not know, this is the only world classic gold that is world cross country outside the other federations of the world. But in Africa, this is the only one. And saying that in this case, we are being honored for the fact that we are the best cross-country country in the whole world. Because last month, when our team was in Tennessee, USA, we were number one, and of course, repeating the same. Otherwise, because the weather has become very bad, and of course we have finished, let me thank everybody who was around for the role one played, and do say that we are trying to get the world cross country come over here the year 2029. And I want to appreciate Director Ibrahim Hussein for giving us these grounds And therefore, this is where exactly we will launch that world cross-country event. Otherwise, for that much, thank you very much. And the chief organizers who are doing all this, Corazzo and the others, asanteni sana. God bless every one of you. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. Now we are ready for the national anthem, and then Mwalimu Kendagor, you'll be ready. Also natafuta mtoto anaitwa Cynthia Keitany. Tafadhali enda kwa gate. We all be upstanding for the national anthem. All right, asante.
The Sirikwa Classic 2026 edition comes to an end and yet again stands as a premier global cross-country meeting, a celebration of Kenyan athletics excellence and a developmental bridge for future Olympic champions. As the final leg of the 2026 World Athletics Cross Country Gold Tour 2025-2026 concludes, the elite rivalry we have witnessed here between John Korir and Daniel Ebenyo will remain in our memories for a long time, with the growth of international participation and high-level elite competition. We've been your commentators, Manya Nyamwea and 800-meter Beijing Olympic champion Wilfred Bungay. We'll see you at the next edition in 2027. Keep watching NTV, turning on your world.